Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lost-Planning the Interwebs. I am your very late, ultra gay, super pro LGBT, Pride Month, trans punctual host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And wow, am I late? Holy shit, I am sorry. I was hanging out with Lady Rackets and lost track of time. We've got some stuff to do tonight. It's been waiting for a couple days now, but we've got some stuff to do, and it's the type of show it's gonna make some people mad for no reason, but it's the type of show that's necessary to do because fuck everybody. I was right. But it's a very specific thing I was right about. I can't take all the credit. Because I never thought the Supreme Court would do this. And then the leaked document came out, and I had to undo that perspective. And I had to get into the world of, okay, the Supreme Court is actually going to overturn Roe and Casey. They're actually going to follow constitutional law, and they're not going to just say this has to stay because it exists. Because I don't know if people realize this. We're going to get all into this tonight. But Roe's persistent existence was predicated on the fact that Roe existed in the first place. Roe has been bad forever from a legal perspective. Now, I know some of you will take your gigantic, unsexy granny panties and the breast reducing wraps that you wear or whatever because you don't like being a woman. I know you're going to take that and be fucking mad about it. About me saying that Roe has been bad law from the start. It was poorly founded. It was a shit decision. It was bad. It was always bad from a legal perspective. And that makes you mad, and it makes you angry, and your estrogen is up, which just means you have a strong urge to do the dishes. And if I had my way, Clarence Thomas would order your ass right back in the fucking kitchen. Get in there and do them dishes. I know that's what's going on in your head, but you have to hear me out. You have to hear me out. Because Roe being bad law does not mean the underlying ideas of Roe are not potentially constitutionally founded. It means you aren't there yet. And it means you never should have been there, and that for 70 fucking years, you've been lied to about this decision. And that's not my fault, because I told you it was wrong from the moment I learned to read law. I said, Roe is bad. It's a bad decision. But you have to understand that Roe, in some capacity, with some new theory, is coming back to the Supreme Court. And what they do after that could be entirely inconsistent with the opinion they just released. Because the opinion they released Friday, was a procedural due process question about a non-fundamental right, about something that had not been established anywhere at the time the 14th Amendment was written. It's procedural due process is the 14th Amendment. It wasn't respected anywhere as a fundamental right. And so to get around that, they had to make it up using principles of Fourth Amendment privacy, wrapping in this nebulous Ninth Amendment argument, and then solidifying that with the 14th Amendment. They use the phrases specters and penumbras or some bullshit like that in the actual opinion because they didn't have a legal foundation for it. And they were lied to about what Roe was about by Roe and her attorneys. All of that combined at a particular point in time, and the court made a decision that was wrong. And that's at the core of the decision on Friday, is that Roe was fundamentally flawed from the start. You have to understand that aspect of it. I have a personal moral problem with the idea of abortion. But I have a personal moral problem with a whole lot of shit that is both legal and illegal. And I think might, could, should be something different. This isn't about that. This is about, I mean, it's a little bit about that. The gloating part will be about that a little bit, but it's really about what the law is and should be, and should the Constitution have this sway over this. So we're going to be, I mean, tonight is Roe. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of stories from my trip with Lady Rackets down to Kentucky that we were just on. Got to visit Doug TeNapel, which was great. And then go and hang out with a couple people from my Discord who got married in part because they met through the show. And then now they have a little baby coming. So we were at a baby shower for the first, I guess, official Rekieta Law baby. I've taken ownership of the baby, but I will not be paying child support, just to be clear. So we're going to be talking about that briefly. I just have some fun tidbits to share. I don't know. I like to talk to you guys about my life. And maybe I don't want to hear about your life all the time. So you have to hear about mine. But I want to talk to you about that just for fun for a little bit. And then we are going to talk for the rest of the time, however long that goes tonight, about Roe and about what it means, why it's this way, where things are going next, what it doesn't mean. All of that is really critically fucking important. The ultimate thing, though, is I know I'm going to lose a significant amount of subscribers tonight because all of my normal content is coming out and scaring people away, which is good. I like it. If you don't want to be here, please don't ever be here. Please don't be here. Like, no one's forcing you to. But if you are here, I will grab you right by the penis, or I guess if you're a lady, you know, there's like a 1 in 3 chance. I'll drag you by your labia to the facts, the truth, and I won't sugarcoat it. I won't fucking lie to you, and I won't sit here and like try and pander to your shitty opinion or your shitty disposition or your sunny disposition or opinion. I don't care about any of that. I'm just here to deliver you what the law is. And I happen to be fucking right on this one. And I have been from the start, and I'm finally vindicated on it. And it makes me happy because that smug motherfucker on Destiny's stream said I was wrong about stare decisis, but I was goddamn right. And Alito basically, not quite quotes me because he didn't have any fucks in there, but Alito says what I was saying. And these little fucking weirdo lawyers and law students come out and they're like, no, stare decisis is really important. It's like, it's pretty important, but it cannot be the basis for why a law persists. Because stare decisis just means someone else said it before, and you should give deference to the fact that someone dealt with the issue. But if it was a bad decision from the start, it's a bad decision today. And just because it's existed for 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 years doesn't mean you keep shit law when you have the chance to undo the shit. So we're going to talk about that. But for my liberal leftist friends who may be out there, there's a couple of you, You have to understand, I love you guys so much. You have, I think that's the gay language that you guys use, but I love you, like, legitimately, because you challenge and you contemplate and you ponder, and that's critical. It doesn't seem like it, but that's what I do. I do that in my spare time, though. I don't have time on the show to be too confused about things. You got to be cocksure if you're on the internet. This is sales 101. But I do actually really appreciate that. And I appreciate that you guys are here. So hear me out on this, because I'll tell you something up front, and I'll do it again when we get fully into the topic. But I think abortion is reprehensible. However, I don't condemn women who have had abortions or who have abortions legally. I really don't. I mean, that's not my job. I don't judge people for a lot of stuff. If you touch kids, I judge you pretty hard. But other than that, like, I really don't. And my personal opinions on what something is are that. But I'm not here to tell anybody else what to do. Don't tell people what to do in their lives in any other aspect. I don't know why this would be different. I'll tell you what I'd like you to do. And if you ask me for advice, I'll give it to you. But I'm just a guy, right? Like, what do you want? You want more than that? I don't know. I'm not your dad. So what the hell? And if she says otherwise, you slap your mother. But yeah, so I don't condemn women. I do condemn doctors and nurses who assist in that procedure. I think that's a different character and caliber. They're not the ones making the decision. But I don't condemn moms. I really don't. Well, not moms? I don't know the PC way to say it. I don't condemn women for this decision. They have been lied to and manipulated and given false realities by people for so long that how can you blame people who do this? But doctors, nurses, whatever, they know. They know what's in there. They know what's going on. They know what they're doing. There's a bunch of women who don't. And if you don't like that, I'll stick around. I'll fucking piss you off a whole lot tonight. And you should be mad. You should be mad about this. Both sides. Republicans, you should be mad that it took this long. Democrats, you should be mad that the Supreme Court was politicized against you. It wasn't. Republicans should be mad that it took a politicization of the court to get here, because this was bad law from the start. And if a single fucking vagina wielder out there tries to tell me that men don't get to have an opinion on an abortion, okay, you want to throw down, you clitoral riding weirdo. You want to say men don't get to get a choice, don't get the input on abortion? I accept your offer. And Roe versus Wade, which was decided by 9 men and argued by 2 more, must be overturned, because men don't get a say in abortion. So I accept your offer. And think about that the next time you use that dumb fucking line. Oh my Christ. Because we're not here for gotchas. We're not here for little lines. It's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. This is about the law. This is about the ability to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done, and the ability to control your environment a little more. Yes, the Supreme Court has empowered you this day. The Supreme Court has told you and given you all the ammunition you could ever want, both sides, to put your money and your vote where your mouth is. Talk a lot about how everybody loves abortion, only a bunch of fucking weirdos hate it. It's big talk. Now they're giving you the opportunity to put that big talk into big practice. And you can do it. Ladies, gentlemen, you can make abortion as legal or illegal as you want. All you have to do is convince the rest of your state that you're right. But both sides, that should be easy, right? It should be a simple fucking thing because both sides know that their narrative is the correct one and everybody agrees with it. Somewhere, right? Even if they don't say so. I've had a little whiskey already and we're getting a little tossed because this is over eventually a party. Like, this is after all a party. And I love to party. And I do mean that both ways, right? You've heard both sides say it. Both sides have said, well, you know, the left will say abortion polls are very popular. The majority of people don't want abortion repealed. That's one question. But if it were, if abortion was repealed, if Roe versus Wade was overturned, a bunch of people may not want it overturned. But when it is overturned, what do you want? What do you want for your state? Different question. We don't have the answers because it was almost unfathomable for people to have this thing overturned. And then on the converse, you'll hear conservatives, right wingers, Republicans, whoever say, well, people secretly hate abortion, but they just kind of go with the flow. They're afraid to speak their mind. The polls are biased, whatever you want, right? Each side will have its full excuses for why their side is actually the correct one, holding the moral majority of the United States. Now we get to find out individually how that works. I think that's ultimately how the country was designed, how it's supposed to be for almost everything. But we've tried to change that through the years. All right. Okay. So with that, let's start with some super chats, which I know is going to make a bunch of people groan, but there are a bunch of big ones waiting for me, which I love. You're welcome to do that whenever you want. Thank you so much for it. But we're going to get into those. Here we go. And then I'll talk about Lady Rackets and I's vacation a bit. Shit. Oh, damn it. I'll do it on a different show. They don't want me to do it on this show anyway. I visited a fantastic liquor store in Glasgow, Kentucky, and I wanted to shout them out. And I will, but I'm not going to do it on this show because, you know, this is politically charged. And, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to impose that on somebody else unless they tell me to. You want to tell me like, now, we love saving babies or whatever. Yeah. Okay, cool. The Dragon's Treasure says, I'll be listening to the whole show live tonight as I drive back to Chicago for Anime Midwest. If anyone is going, mention Rackets and you'll get a special little bonus gift while supplies last. That's it, guys. If you're going to Anime Midwest in Chicago, Dragon's Treasure will be there. You can go see him. And if you mention Rackets, you'll get a little bonus gift. So check that out. Joe just sent shit. Thank you. Game on. Nick lost a good boy tonight. My lab of 4 years all of a sudden seized out and passed on. Digging his grave as I listen tonight. A toast. Cheers, Buck. Although our time was short, you'll never be forgotten, and you are a good boy. To Buck and all the good boys out there who didn't quite make it, to be that full-on fit-in companion. I mean, that was the plan. that was a scheme. That was the idea. And it didn't manifest because fate had a hand that had a different plan. But to Buck, to being a good boy, and to getting through that nasty part of burying a friend. Cheers. Catherine Smith. Rackets convinced my 60-year-oldish aunt to get unbreaded after sending her the government works for us rant. Do me a solid and give two awesome veterans, Aunt Tracy and Uncle Gavin, a base Ricada rant or a toast / a shot of military special. Your pick. I'm not doing a shot of military special. Right now I'm drinking Hooten Young whiskey, a 12-year whiskey. This stuff is good. I like it. But I will give a toast to Tracy and Uncle Gavin, Aunt Tracy and Uncle Gavin, a pair of veterans who met, maybe not because of specifically, but as a result of their commitment to service, to their communities, to their countries, and to each other. And may that life of service, that attitude of respect, you've met them. You've met servicemen and women, that attitude of respect and that charisma that comes with seeing stuff that most people shouldn't see and dealing with timelines and logistics and the unpleasant realities that most people shouldn't deal with. Cheers to you two. May your life continue on for a very long time and always together. Ryan Acorn. So long story short, Zoe Quinn porked 5 guys for fake game reviews, pissed some people off, yada, yada, yada. Roe versus Wade gets overturned. Yep. That's if you trace it back to Gamergate. But there's actually a different place to go. There's actually a different place to go than Gamergate, because Clarence Thomas has been an integral figure on the court lately. And Joe Biden just happened to say some really racist shit about Clarence Thomas and have some racist implications about Clarence Thomas a long time ago. And that may have something to do with it. So Clarence got out the laser eyes and said, "Fuck you, Joe. I'm coming for that ass." And he put it down. Okay, next. Alt lag. Long time no see, slacker. True. Welcome back. Here's $20 to jumpstart the grift. Now get out there and mine some salt in the name of the greatest of SCOTUS judges, Mark Dankula. Oh, and shame those myriad fat mads while you're at it. Dude, Dankula was one of the funniest people on the planet for a couple days. It was great. God, the responses that he got were just amazing. He nailed it. He's right on point. Valdez. Oh, by the way, I do have to get something out. I got Michael Malice, apparently. I saw a Michael Malice tweet. I said, well, this isn't right. And then I retweeted it and just said incorrect. But I did not see the preceding tweet that said the next tweet is going to be a troll. Just go with it or whatever. So I got fucking destroyed by Michael Malice. So Michael Malice, I admit defeat. And I admit all 4 of defeat that you are tall. Boom, get wrecked, short man. Okay, there we go. Valdejean says, yesterday, oh shit, I lost a dear friend, ending his fight with a terminal brain tumor. Nin, he liked to be called, was a true friend, always cheerful. He always thought of others, not wanting a funeral, so we opted to celebrate his life instead. He was taken from us far too soon. At the age of 24, yet had already made a huge impact on myself and others. I miss him. Can't think of a better way to celebrate his life than a toast from my favorite grifter lawyer, if you don't mind. Yeah. To Nin, a young man, and for some reason, tragedy seems to strike harder with youth. A young man who lost a fight with a disease that you'd think we could have ended a long time ago. But that's another discussion. For now, we have to deal with pain and loss as this disease reaps its toll amongst our friends and our family. But the important part about Nin is that in his short life, he was able to impact people in a way that will carry on and multiply much farther than his life would ever be. So to Nin, to all the others taken way too soon, Godspeed. Rest in peace in the arms of your Savior, and cheers. Kidda, did you hear that the new Horus Heresy rulebook states that only men can be Space Marines? Wokies are pissed and are demanding Games Workshop hire a sensitivity reader for all future products to avoid offensive content. I'll sensitively read them their last fucking rights. Get wrecked, idiots. Space Marines are men. You have a whole goddamn fucking army of superhuman women that aren't even augmented and are still better than all of the normal men that have ever lived. Fuck you. Games Workshop has built wokeness into Warhammer 40K in a tangible and stomachable way forever. Get raped with a chainsword, pussies. Mario Carter 13 says, Clarence, they went after my wife. I ended their sex life. Thomas. Oh shit. Jody says, Nick, does pushing 10th Amendment mean states could push back on age you can legally drink alcohol? Yes, kind of. Like 3.2 for 18-year-olds. Like when I was in college. Yes, I'm old. I mean, kind of. Here's the deal. They've tested the alcohol thing. North Dakota was the last state to raise the drinking age to 21. It's based on this idea of what we call legislative coercion at the federal level. So a federal legislation coercively forcing the states to legislate an issue is the idea. The test for it is really, really broad. It's so broad that, in fact, that when North Dakota challenged it, something like, I think 20% of the state's budget was from the federal government transportation bill. Maybe it's 10%. But that being said, that was considered to not be coercive, to not be a coercive amount. So challenging that law is extremely difficult. I don't know what else to say. It's a mess. Just a second. We can always try to challenge it. It should be challenged. It should be changed. And states should have control over the drinking age in the states, obviously. But they determined that wasn't coercive. So it's kind of bullshit. It's a shit ruling. But that one isn't as shaky as Roe was, because there is law that goes towards coercive nature of legislation. And then it just becomes this weird balancing test. South Dakota. Okay, South Dakota then. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the same idea. All right, next. True Anana Shabbat, Bad Pressure, Bad Calf Care says, please address Justice Dankula's tweets. You got Malice, and Sword and Scale is by far the best true crime podcast. That is true. That last one is true. Sword and Scale is by far the best true crime podcast. I did get Malice. I've already owned up to it. I don't like it, but it happened. But everything I said was true. Like his tweet was incorrect. It was just a troll. And he's still short. Short people can be okay, I guess. I don't know. Lawn Lumber says not late until 12:05 a.m. East. But alas, as I write this, that time is come and gone. Nick is officially late. That's true. Man, Law and Lumber, I really wish I could have joined you guys out in LA for the for Alita's wedding. I would have loved to come out. You guys look like you had a lot of fun. Little bit of homoeroticism in the pictures, but hey, you know, it's LA, it's the summer. That's to be kind of expected. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It looked like a blast. I would have loved to come meet everybody, but I had a prior engagement with this baby shower, and Lady Raggets and I just could not make both trips work. Going from West Coast to East Coast is a bitch. If it was East Coast first and then back to West Coast, we probably could have, with the time difference, made it happen, but it just wasn't going to work out. All right. Tall, skinny geek. Let the one who is never late cast the first stone. No, don't. A bunch of stones are going to come my way. Shit. I don't want to die. What the fuck is wrong with you? You just looked up to God and said, I wish this man dead. Jackson Kai says, been a 99% great week. Gun rights upheld, religious rights upheld. Avalanche won the Stanley Cup and Roe was overturned. Glad I lived to see the day. Downside is apparently I have the coof and feel terrible, but that's Fauci and Pooh Bear's fault. Yeah. Well, does anybody even have COVID anymore? Like, for real? Do they actually really have COVID anymore? I don't know about that. I'm not convinced on that one. Like, I think, well, you know, can we even say the truth anymore on YouTube? It's done. It's over. Like, I mean, I know you can get it, but who's going to die anymore? Right? Like, we killed all those people that were going to die, and now the rest of us are just stuck with it. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just not that big of a deal anymore. Am I wrong? Maybe, I mean, I could be wrong on this. It's just my opinion based on the news, where I don't see COVID killing everybody anymore. Now I just see, well, somebody got COVID from somewhere, kind of. Isn't that how it feels? It's how it feels to me. Like, I'm not looking at data. I'm looking at how it feels. Okay. Because that's what we go by now, right? We go by feeling. Oh, shit. How much whiskey should I drink? To get up at 9. Congiant says, totally stoked for the demise of Roe versus Wade. You want a spear? Yes. If the answer is you want a spear, question mark, or the question is, do you want a spear, question mark, the answer is yes. Oh, Camelot, you motherfucker. I love this guy. Camelot, you're in the chat. What's up, buddy? I am back. Dude, so I rented a Mustang down in Kentucky. I rented a Mustang. I don't know what year it was or anything, but it had the Ford has this 3.5 liter turbocharged V6 engine that they use for everything. It's what they put in my Navigator. The Navigator, when you put into like excite mode, that's what happens when you rub a woman's buttocks, is they get into excite mode. But the Navigator has an excite mode, and when you turn on it, it's got some pep. It moves pretty cool. It's fun. But I got this Mustang. I'm driving it around Nashville. I'm like slamming on the gas, and it's like not going. It was like, okay, whatever. This is weird. And then I found the little switch. Found the switch on it. Yeah. Put that motherfucker on track mode. And it opens up the turbo. Whoo! That thing gets going really fucking quick. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I was driving like 120 all over Kentucky. Fuck you, Kentucky, and your stupid gay speed limits. And I'm driving all over the place. Everybody in Kentucky goes at least 80 miles an hour. I've learned this. And I'm flying past everybody. It was a blast. And I turned to Lady Raggets and I said, Lady Raggets, I love driving. Can I please, would it be okay if I like trying out racetrack driving? Can I do that? And she looked at me like I was the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. So Camelot, I transfer those eyes to you because I was emulating you. Approved it. All right. I confer that to you. So she was actually looking at you vicariously through me, saying, "You're a fucking idiot." Okay. But yes, the answer is I always want a spear. I hope you do too. Spears are fucking cool. The Quartering says, "You're the best. So thankful I have a delicious cup of coffee brand coffee to enjoy during the stream." Guys, no joke. I love the Quartering dropping, big super chats on the stream all the time. That is great. But no joke, I got his stupid little package of coffee that I ordered. I ordered the starter pack of coffee, the starter pack of tea. I've drank none of it, so don't get crazy. Couple travel mugs, a regular mug, and these two shirts. And I'm gonna tell you, those shirts are really fucking nice. It's a good shirt. Coffee brand coffee, the shirt. I don't know if the coffee's good or shit. I haven't had Lady Raggets drink any yet. We're gonna do some really soon. I'll even drink it. I hate coffee, but I'll drink it anyway, and I'll tell you what I think. I found my buddy's stepdad owns a coffee plantation in Guatemala. And they bring back fresh Guatemala coffee from the plantation, right? And I've had that, and that's drinkable for me. I don't prefer, I wouldn't choose to have coffee, but if I was going to have a cup of coffee, I would choose that one and I would not be sad about it. So that's my barometer for when I try coffee brand coffee. You'll know that that's where I'm going with. I'm like, fresh from the plantation, probably picked by Anglo slaves. And so it's high quality and brought to the United States, borderline illegally, and given to me. And that's what I'm weighing coffee brand coffee against. So I will try it out and we'll see if I like it. And I'll tell you if I like it. I'll tell you if I hate it. I have no idea. And more importantly, I'll tell you what Lady Rackets likes or dislikes, because she is a consummate coffee drinker. So anyway, but the shirts are really fucking nice. Like, hands down. Good job, Jeremy. Good sourcing on the shirts. Farside SC. I can't believe you got owned by Michael Malice and didn't have the common courtesy to give him a reach around. What was I supposed to do? I liked his tweet making fun of me or whatever. Seal77, welcome to Super Lawyer Status. He says, "You're late." Law and Lumber says, "Lost track of time. You really want more of those kids running around?" Just kidding. Oh, I've got such a story for you. Neonic Flame. Last night was our 7th anniversary, our first with our 3-month-old daughter. Had some Basil Haydens to celebrate. Respect. First super chat to anyone. More respect. We were hoping to get a toast from you, Bobby and Ava. Been following since Vic. Damn it, Bobby. Of course. Toasts make me a little nervous. Yeah, I got you. To Bobby and Ava, 7 years together, but their first anniversary with a baby, and the baby changes your lives in ways that you didn't know. It stretches you in ways you didn't know, makes you grow. It's painful in ways you didn't know, like being fisted. I'm just kidding. I'm ruining this toast. But you know what I mean. Babies change you. They change your relationship. They change your life. But may they never impact your marriage, your companionship in a negative way. And may they only show you that they can grow, that they can stretch, and that the addition of a little one will never pop that balloon. Cheers. It's good fucking whiskey. Kyle Bogue had to have a chat with the wife Saturday morning. She's a teacher, so she's obviously a Democrat and pro-choice. I'm not, obviously, but good Lord, 3 hours later and we're still married, despite the fact that I'm right. Look, it's okay. Women, I've seen so many women with like the woman's perspective on this, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen. They have different considerations. They have different fears and apprehensions. It doesn't make someone right or wrong because they have. Yes, I'm aware Malice. Well, you say wants me to come on his show. He said he'd consider talking to me. I'd love to talk to Michael Malice. I've got no beef or animus towards him. Everything I've said about Michael Malice is in full fun, right? Like the short jokes but he got me, trolled me online very effectively. I don't know. Have you guys not figured this out? God, so many people in my life have not figured me out, and I'm so fucking easy to figure out. I have no like you have to intentionally come after my family for me to be mad at you at all. Like, you come after me, I don't care. Like, you can say whatever shit you want about me, and I'll sit down and have a whiskey I'll buy the whiskey. We'll have a good chat. Who cares? Who cares? But like, stay the fuck away from my wife and kids, like, because that's some bullshit. But other than that, whatever. And I hope people take it the same way, because I'm almost always just joking with people and they get mad. They get so mad about it. But no, I'd love to talk to Michael Malice. Ed says, I heard all of this from Justice Dankula. Smart guy, that Justice. Not sure why everybody on Twitter is mad at him. Angie Harrover sending hey to my son, Alan Harrover at home. What's up, Alan? Hey. The Squid says, the meltdowns on the internet have been glorious. I haven't been this entertained by whiny weirdos since 2016. It's also fun completely dismantling the arguments of all the uneducated idiots out there. Don't forget the educated idiots. Pirate Queen, welcome to Paralegal Cars in Depth. Tuesday was 33rd anniversary of my dad, Leonard Schreiber's death. He was a good man, loved by all who knew him, and a fine role model who taught me the only way that only my best was good enough. A respected veterinarian who MDs consulted. And he says, state commander of Jewish war vets. He loved my mom and us and died way too young at 68. Joe already gave his soul a Hebrew blessing, but dad loved a good Scotch. L'chaim. To your dad, Leonard Schreiber. He sounds like a colossal titan of a man, involved in his community, more importantly, involved in his family, and most importantly, involved with you and leaving a lasting impression so many years after he's gone. Cheers to him. Jason McConnell. From my reading and informal polling, fewer than 6 people on Earth are aware that the reason Canada has no abortion law is because of jury nullification. Sir Marha, I have no idea. That's amazing. Sir Marhouse, what a great week. Gun rights, Roe, Dankula on the Supreme Court. Apparently too mad doing Belle Delphine dressed as Donkey Kong. What? Oh, I did see those pictures. Definitely check that one out on Twitter. It's lewd but safe for work, and Racket's late to D&D. Yes, I forgot to my plane schedule would interfere with the D&D character creation stream. I'm going to do a makeup character creation stream with Irudi, I guess is the guy's name, this week, I think. I haven't sent him what day. Maybe Thursday. I got to look at my schedule, Thursday or Friday during the daytime. But we'll do a little stream, get the character rolled, figure everything out. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I completely blanked that my plane flight would overlap with the stream. So I couldn't do that. Okay. Som Takes says, sub during Maddox Masterson lawsuit. First super chat. Please says my dad and brother, who are the best men I know. To Som Takes, a man with 2 great men in his life, his dad and his brother. And would we all have a dad and brother that we could appreciate and toast as adults, that we can cheer on because they cheered us on when we were down, when we were up, and they made fun of us when we needed it. Cheers to them, brother. And by the way, I mean that. I don't have a brother, but my dad was my best man at my wedding. And I think I think everybody. I wish that everybody would, even if you don't, would feel like they could have their dad be their best man. I really do. Jacob McQuaid says, "Hey, Nick, just wanted to thank you for providing a fun place to continue engaging with my passion, a law school washout." Brother, you probably made the right choice. I hate to say it, but you did. Toxic Bacon. "Hey, Nick, can you say hi to my girlfriend, Trinity? I've gotten her into your vids." Hey, Trinity. How you doing, girl? Welcome. Welcome to the show. Hold on. I'm talking to another woman, Trinity. But now I'm back to you. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Is he treating you good? Treating you well? Here's a shout out to you. Make him treat you nice. There you go. Just kidding. Have a good one. Have a good one. It's happening with Harper, says Darren Bailey won Republican governor primary in Illinois today. Yes. I don't know who that is, but yeah, buddy. What's next? Holy shit. Why did you guys send so many super chats? I'm trying to start the show. Andrew Hansen, American government has been illegitimate since Roe. Government's only legitimate purpose is to protect the rights of the people. Abortion denies the rights of people and does so in violation of the 5th and 14th Amendments. Andrew Hansen says, "My answer, did you assume my gender?" Yes, I did. The Squid, the worst arguments I've heard in favor of abortion is when they compare babies to parasites and say a baby doesn't have a right to depend on the mother for survival, as if the baby doesn't need the body after birth. Yeah, we all depend on other people for survival. In fact, the overwhelming majority of people who are complaining about Roe versus Wade could not survive at all without somebody else. Like, it's embarrassing. The number of people who could live without another person, like who could legitimately solo survive, like they could hunt their own food, they could procure lumber, build a shelter. The number of people like that, it's like a 0.0001% of the earth. It's a pathetic amount that could survive without synergistically living off of another person, or parasitically, if you like to say it that way. But it's not, because the moms get a lot out of the baby too. In fact, there's all sorts of studies about contact with babies and breastfeeding and how it reduces things like depression, how it helps with endorphins, and how it has all sorts of positive mental effects. So Leia says it's okay to abort, but if one lady 2 months preggo lost a baby because of car accident, person who caused the accident is charged with death, even though mom survived but the baby died in their belly. Explain what's the difference. I can't. The only difference in that scenario is that mom who aborts baby wants baby to die. Mom who doesn't might not want baby to die. The real question, though, is if mom on the way to the abortion clinic to get an abortion gets in a car accident and the baby dies, does a person go to prison for that? Is that the murder? I don't know. These are hard questions. They're really tough. And this is what the Supreme Court ultimately gets to. We're gonna read just the syllabus. I'm not gonna read the whole decision's 200 pages with a whole bunch of fucking a whole bunch of good dancing and a whole bunch of bitching. And I've got to probably clip down some of Thomas's great lines, because Thomas is such a great justice right now, that I really want to do some tribute to him. But that being said, there's so much back and forth in the decision. We can't read all of it. But in the syllabus, we get to this idea that part of the issue is that, like, there's not a reconciling of the rights of the baby. We're all just presuming how a baby would exercise their rights. And it's weird. It's weird. Tina says, "Nick, the internet has Clussy fever. What are your thoughts on Clussy?" I don't know what the fuck Clussy is. But is it anything like the Sussy Squad on Cozy? Because that's weird. Facepalm says, "Bruh, can you look into California publicly doxing via a website of every CCW licensed individual?" I can look into it, but let me just say, I mean, When you get licensed with concealed carry, you're putting yourself on a government list. You should always expect that list to be leaked. Always. Clussy is a sexy clown. Kill it with fucking fire. You want to get in this clown, Pussy Junior? Have you ever met like real clowns when they're out of makeup? They're terrifying people. All of them are probably on a watch list, and many of them are on a registry. Stay away from clowns. There is no sexy clown. It's not a real thing. All right, Bobblehead Homestead and Freedom Fighter, welcome to the paralegal status. Freedom Fighter says, list Discord in the description, please. Welcome home. I can't. Freedom Fighter, no. The Discord is for subscribers on, whatchamacallit, locals, and also $10 plus subscribers on YouTube. It's paywalled for a reason. It's paywalled because I'm protecting the internet from these disgusting, awful people. I wish you understood how terrible my Discord was. I've told you, but I still say people, they're like, oh yeah, no, he's just joking. He's just trying to drive up sales. No, they're terrible. They'll ruin your life and the whole world if you let them. I have to wall them off behind a fee. I put them all there so that the FBI can find them. You don't want to be in my Discord. It's disgusting. But yeah, if you want, like, if you're terrible and you want to be amongst terrible people, you can join locals. If you go to the about page on my locals, it tells you the $5, $10, $20 tiers and they're different things. You can dip your toes in the Discord. But look, when you dip your toes in, you're going to get a dick scored in your ass. That's how it goes. I'm just warning you. It's like the worst hot tub you've ever been in. It's like, oh, this hot tub's kind of nice. Why am I being raped? That's what happens. Don't go in my Discord. Don't. There's too many people and they're all fucking awful. Uncivil Law says, are you winning, son? I am. I didn't hear your call earlier, but I texted you back and you never answered me. How's it going, buddy? What's up? Kurt, I heard you passed 100,000 subscribers, by the way. Congrats, you monster. That's great. Very proud of you. You deserve it. Busy boy. Law daddy, just a total bottom femboy here and not as smart as all you weird straight daddies. But isn't it better to just let states decide things like abortion and marriage and you can live in states that reflect your views? I say yes. Abortion, for sure. Marriage, I don't think the Supreme Court gets there. Personally, I want the states to decide just about everything. But I don't think that the Supreme Court is going to overturn marriage. I know Keemstar said it, and if the legal acumen of Keemstar is correct, then, well, the Supreme Court's going to overturn gay marriage, which I guess means they're going to overturn Loving versus Virginia at the same time. But there's a big problem with it. Marriage has always been recognized as common, as fundamental, as a right. Whether you agree or disagree with gay marriage is irrelevant. It's a completely different fucking legal question to abortion. But that being said, we'll see how it goes. Elite Neo says, hey, Nick, just linked your show on my Facebook wall with this description. Judging from a lot of the posts I've seen on here lately, there's a lot of people who could learn something from Nick's stream tonight. Wonder how many will unfriend me now. Not enough. Victor Phantasm, hose mad, 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 hose mad. See you at Matsuri. Awesome. Can't wait. Character holding Justice Dankula is the hero we needed but didn't deserve. He's fucking funny. It was great. Zaid Comics, hey Nick, excited to hang out with you and Joe Ball next month at Matsuri. Tonight is the last night of our first month of our big swimsuit special CG vacation. Everyone from Cyberfrog to Blade Devil is involved. Thank you so much. Amelie's human. I'm pro-choice, but I'm bad at it. I believe there needs to be an acknowledgement that the baby is alive and real counseling should be required for every procedure. Women who now consider themselves livestock hate it. Amelie's human. You're where a lot of people are. A lot of people are just disgusted with the lack of education around it, the lack of honesty in the discussion. And they just want people to say, I get that it's a baby and I'm okay with killing it. That's a place to be. That may be where we end up. And this is part of the problem with Roe. Roe and Casey created impossible standards that didn't make sense and that were so overly burdensome to states that they couldn't regulate what was going on within their borders. And I mean, to the point where, again, if you took the restrictions on buying a gun and applied them to abortion, they would be called unconstitutional and it wouldn't even be fucking close. Oh, wait. So if you want an abortion, you have to go on a government list. No, I'm not okay with that. Well, you have to fill out a government form and assert that you're not a whole bunch of things. Like you're not a drug user, you're not an illegal user of whatever. You're doing the abortion for yourself, not for someone else. You have to do a checkbox, just a bunch of checkboxes. Unduly burdensome. Well, you have to go through a national background check. You have to make sure that you're not like a serial aborter, that you don't have a bunch of aborted adults or whatever. You have to make sure you're just not a fucking murderer. How about that? No, unduly burdensome. So it's easier to get an abortion, which is not mentioned in the Constitution, contemplated by the Constitution, or anything else, than it is to buy a gun, which is specifically fucking in the Constitution. Yeah, that's a problem. That is a real fucking problem. Like, from a legal perspective, from a constitutional perspective, which is those two things comprise the entirety of Supreme Court consideration. We've got a big fucking problem if it's easier to get an abortion. And not only that, but that the same laws that restrict guns would be applied linearly to abortion, be struck down as unconstitutional. We have a huge issue. Huge issues with this. And if you don't see that, if you don't understand that, then you'll never understand this decision. And again, it's critical that you understand the decision. Charlie 18, it's never time to start the show. I'll run my show the way I want. You don't fucking tell me to run a show. Sectus Gaming, I took your whiskey advice and grabbed a Bardstown Discovery number 7. Good stuff from a local mom and pop shop. Easily dumpsters the other 15-year whiskeys I have. Nice technique, brother. Thank you. Godspeed. There you go, brother. Enjoy it. Enjoy your whiskeys, boys and ghouls. We're almost there. Kyle Bogue, it was actually a really good conversation. I'm glad we had it. By the way, check for that golf trip email in your inbox. I did. I'm going to set it up this summer. We're going to go and shoot some golf. We're going to put our balls in little holes. You and me. Wick Dipper, I fought my battle against Roe when I convinced my adulterous ex-wife not to abort the baby she conceived with a homeless man because I'd take care of our biological daughter's sister. Can I get a toast to a beautiful 4-year-old? Wick Dipper, dude. That's a tough one, man. That's very, very rough. But let me say this. It was never the kid's fault. And that you recognize that and decided to step up anyways is pretty fucking cool. It's not the kid's fault. That's ultimately at the Roe versus Wade thing. It's what Roe never considered. It's what Roe never actually considers. They pay a little lip service to it, but it's always the woman's interest versus the state's interest in a potential life. It's never the potential life's interest or the actual life. It's not really potential by the time you're deciding on abortion, it's not potential anymore. It is life. In any context other than in a womb of a woman, it would be considered life. It would be a miraculous discovery anywhere else in the fucking universe than in a woman's womb. So that being said, it was never the kid's fault. And I'm glad that you don't treat the kid as if it was. Cheers to the child. May they grow up to a future that far exceeds the decisions of their parents. Cheers, brother. Alley Cat 2441 says, I'm a woman. Overturning Roe versus Wade was correct. And to everybody out there who will say whatever about that guy, like, you can say whatever about the guy you want, but reality is a lot messier. Reality is a lot fucking messier than these labels we put on things. The labels are good for 98% of stuff, but what's supposed to happen? Fuck the kid? I mean, kid just dies then? I don't think so. Like, that's all we can say is, may we never have that decision to make, right? Cheers to that. Law and Lumber says 8:30 a.m. status hearing in the morning. This is your reminder to tell that story, RE. You don't need more of those kids running around. I'll chat on it on the replay night, brother. Oh, fuck. Sorry, man. It's coming. We're almost there. Camelot 331. If I run at Texas in the NASCAR, you're more than welcome to come take a spin in it. Don't tempt me with a good time. I'll drive the fuck out of that car. Base for Life Radio. Hey, Nick, been following for a while. First super chat. You did a great job on the Rittenhouse trial. Can I do a grift? Trying to get to the first 100 subs on the channel based for number 4 Life Radio. I do political, punk, grunge, hard rock music all by myself. That sounds fucking cool. Guys, check out Based for Life Radio. They're on YouTube. Give them a sub if you like music. It's punk, grunge, hard rock, apparently. Give it a shot. Maybe it's good. Blaine's Escape Corner. Tonight, my wife checked on me during my stream to make sure I was okay when I was ranting about Amazon and pounding the desk. Pretty funny. Anyway, when are we going to talk about the healthy escapism from this infuriating world? I do that chat at Matsuri every year. So I'll be talking about it there. I almost always do it for the fans panel, which is about escapism. It's about how much you get to love your shit and nobody gets to fuck with you because you love your shit. Teresa Hoisington says, no, you'll probably vomit, but needed to seriously de-stress. So I'm sipping on some original absinthe the 1908 way. Your voice is lovely. Oh, thank you, Teresa. I will not. I've not had absinthe the 1908 way, but I wish you very well in that. I hope it's good for you. I don't condemn other people's drinking habits. I just don't I don't like Fireball, but if you want to drink Fireball and be gay, that's up to you. Dribbly Bobs upgraded to super lawyer status. Thank you. Double Brewski. In the Declaration, it says all men are endowed by their creator with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and etc. Pursuit of happiness. So wouldn't it stand to reason that the founders who wrote the Constitution would oppose abortion entirely? Maybe, probably. I don't know. The question about opposing abortion and should the state intervene are two different questions, but we'll have to see. I don't think they thought about it because it was just largely not like a thing that was discussed publicly or a role of the government at all. If it's not a role of the government, by the way, in general, this is a hard concept. This is critical to this. If it's not in the general scheme of government, then it's definitely not in the purview of the federal fucking government. If you're like, well, government shouldn't be involved in abortion. Okay. I get it. But if government shouldn't be involved, or you think that like government doesn't have a place in the discussion, like my womb, my choice, it definitely should not be a federal Supreme Court decision. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, here we go. Finally, We got 2 left. Jeff the Gamer. Hey, Nick, been a while between work. My new girlfriend, who's also a fan, and family time. Not had much time to watch lately. Glad to see you're still going strong, doing well, and I can't wait to meet you at Matsuri. Dude, I can't wait either. So many people are going to be there. It's going to be fucking fun. Also, I said a long time ago, I will make more content that you can watch. Yes, that is a challenge. Iris, to kick off the quote from Thomas Jefferson. Laws and institutions must go hand in hand with progress of the human mind, one worth finishing in your most Pope-like voice with the glass raised. Cheers. Oh, shit. Laws and institution must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind. And I left my Pope hat upstairs, which leads me into my story. Okay. So Lady of Rackets and I went to Kentucky. We went to Glasgow, Kentucky, to hang out with some friends. They are friends. They're not just Discord members who got married. They have become, over the years, friends. They've been to our house. They're really nice, good, salt of the earth people. And by salt of the earth people, I mean based and red pilled. So they're great. They're super fun. And I love them very much, in the gayest, drunkest way I can. That being said, we went to Kentucky to hang out. We stayed at this place. It's a little bit north of Glasgow. It's in Cave City. It's called the Grand Victorian Inn. And I would legitimately recommend this bed and breakfast. You can look it up. It's online. It's called the Grand Victorian Inn. It's in this old fucking 1800s building. It's been fully restored. The beds are nice. The sheets are nice. You have private bathrooms. And the breakfast every morning was good, which, like, you can go to like a Holiday Inn and you can get some steamed pressure cooked eggs, which are weird. And they got that spongy fucking texture. These are scrambled eggs cooked in a fucking pan. And that's obvious. And then you've got crispy bacon and either waffles or French toast. The mornings that we had it, you had some fresh fruit as well. Fresh coffee, fresh tea. It was good. It's good. I feel old and gay going to a bed and breakfast and actually enjoying it, but trust me, like, I'd choose that bed and breakfast over a hotel every time. Even though the manager, she was nice, but we had some back and forths because she kept telling me that she was out of rooms. And I'm like, I keep seeing rooms online. I know you've got rooms. And then turns out she was looking in the wrong spot, but her heart was in the right place. She was trying to keep me from like showing up there and not being able to book me. But we got everything booked. It was great time. Strongly recommend it. Grand Victorian Inn in Cave City, Kentucky. Very good place. That being said, listen. Lady Rackets and I have been married a very long time. And I like her very much. And I just told her tonight how much I adore her breasts, for example. Look, we were laying there in bed and we're clothed. We're fully clothed. There's no hanky panky, none of this stuff. And we're hanging out and her boob kept hitting her tablet. Like, she kept laughing and this wonderful soft bosom kept bouncing on the tablet and it was typing shit in her game that she was playing. and I was like, man, I love those things. They're amazing. Like, this tit is learning to type. How the fuck do you even do this? Like, what do you even do? It's going to take over. So I told her I was going to leave her for her tits. They're twins. They're perfect. But anyway, that's a side story. We've been married a very long time. I like her very much. She's great. She's super hot and super sexy to me. And if you don't like her, that's cool. I don't fucking care because you're not trying to sleep with her as often as I am. So it doesn't matter to me. But so look, we went to an adult shop, right? And we got some stuff from the adult shop. We got some fun stuff. You got outfits, you got fun little accessories, you might have bottles of liquid. You never know what you get. You go to the shop, you hang out, and you buy a bunch of fun things. Okay? We're getting there. We're getting there. Baldos, they don't sell a Baldo at the shop, so I didn't buy a Baldo. But you don't need to know what we got specifically. Just know we got an ample supply of fun things because you're at this place, right? And you're alone. There's no kids around. You get to get a little wild. It's good times. This is not important, except to the next part of the story. So we're flying back. And one of the other things I bought her was we went to a Dillard's. They don't have Dillard's in the North. We went to a Dillard's because I've bought a good dress for her from Dillard's in the past. And no, I did not get fucking pegged. Stop that immediately. That's Ralph's gig. Ralph gets pegged. No, I don't buy stuff that goes in me. I buy stuff that goes in her or that helps, like facilitates me going in her. We're not on pegging. On pegging is what fat weirdos do. And they can get pegged all day and squeal like, sweet, sweet. That's on someone else. We'll put that on paper. Okay. Okay. So we're flying back and I bought her this dress at Dillard's and it's, Lady Rag is a short lady. So when we get dresses, right, like you have to get them hemmed because she's like 5'2", 5'3". And dresses are made for girls who are about 5'5", 5'6". So you got to get this thing fucking hemmed, even with heels. And so I notice when things have multiple layers, like a dress, because every layer of hemming is like more work for the seamstress. So it's like, this is a 3-layer dress at the bottom. It's like, fuck, that's going to be a lot of hemming, but whatever. So we go to Dillard's, we buy this dress. It's a nice dress, good evening gown for a nice event. And I have to pack this thing up in a suitcase. We had to buy another suitcase to come back. When we were leaving, I'm like, should we grab another suitcase and just carry it empty to the plane? She's, nah, don't worry about it. What if we get stuff while we're down there? She's like, yeah, it's fine. So of course we have to go buy another suitcase. Long story short, don't listen to women. So then I get this dress and I stuff it in the suitcase and we make 2 suitcases. We make a normal suitcase with all our clothes and toiletries and everything. And then, we have a sexy suitcase full of all the fun stuff we've bought, right? Because that's what you do. You put all the fun shit in one suitcase. Now, I grabbed the suitcase today because she had some jam in there from the bed and breakfast. They had homemade jam. And I was like, she wanted the jam to put on a Popeye's biscuit. Popeye's biscuits are good. I was like, oh, okay, I'll grab it. And so I grabbed the fucking suitcase and this thing is half open. And the dress, like the tulle from the middle layer of the dress is spilling out. And I went, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Right? You've got to be kidding me. The dress is spilling out. I looked at her and I said, you know what happened, right? You know what happened. The fucking TSA searched this bag. Of all the bags on the fucking plane they could search, they searched the bag full of crazy shit. I opened the thing up. Bam. TSA inspected tag. Oh, man. I'm sure there are pictures. There are stories. Everything about that fucking bag was great. Oh, geez. It's like they couldn't just look in our innocuous bag with nothing. Oh, fuck. CBD infused lube, my guy. Not on this trip. Different trip. Why are there pearls on this? Holy fuck. Well, they didn't steal anything, though. Why would you fly with that stuff? What am I going to do? Leave it in the fucking hotel? It's expensive. I did make sure everything was there. I did. I made sure everything was there. That's good. So nothing is going in like some TSA guy's ass, right? Like that's I was dying. I was fucking dying. Oh, God. Why that bag? Why not the other bag? The other bag just had dirty clothes and toothpaste and shit in it. The sexy suitcase. Oh, the best part. Do you know what else is in the bag and why it's not here for the show? I had the fucking Pope hat in the bag. So not only are they looking at this going, what the fuck is this? They pull out and it's on top. So they definitely saw it. The papal mitre is on top of a bunch of sex toys and ropes and shit. Oh. Lord, Lord have mercy. Ooh, the Lord God, He has blessed this marriage. Can you fucking imagine? Oh, okay. Anyway, that was my main story. I had a couple other, little stories. I don't have a bunch for the trip. We had a good trip. We had a very, very good trip. Why did you take the Pope hat? I had this funny idea that I would like do a papal benediction of the baby. It wasn't born yet. It was a baby shower. Baby's not due for a little while. And then I was like, we got there and there's just like a bunch of family and they're all like salt of the earth people and they're like good. They're like good people who would, probably fit in here just fine. I was like, well, this just got really weird. I don't know if I should bless the baby with a fucking Pope hat. I might get shot. So I didn't do it. So anyway, the Pope hat is still upstairs in my room. So we'll do unbreaded tonight without a Pope hat, but it's with us in our balls. Okay. Anyway, so that's the idea. Let me pull up this Roe versus Wade. Holy shit. Here we go. I got to bring up a great fucking tweet real quick. Oh, holy fuck. We went to Mammoth Cave in Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. Have you guys been in? That is a big fucking cave. Last thing before we get into this, I gotta show you. I was actually in awe of this this fucking cave. Wait, no, that's not it. Fuck. Okay. I wish I could express to you how big this fucking cavern is. This is like a football field across. The ceiling's like 70 feet, 60 feet, something like that. It's huge. Huge. For comparison, these little things, they're like 4.5 to 5 feet tall. I mean, this thing is fucking massive. wild. This is a different thing. This is another part of it, just where it goes. But this room, I mean, you could hold a fucking concert in this room and there would be plenty of space to do so. And I think it would be awesome. It'd sound great. But there's actually is a cave with a soccer field inside of it. This cave could easily fit a soccer field inside of it. This place is fucking giant. I really like shit like caves and whatever. But here, let's see if I can find something ridiculous. Here we go. Lady fucking Rackets is a giant degenerate. Here we go. Look at this shit. She stands on the rocks in the cave. This is super against the rules to take a fucking selfie. She's out here taking selfies inside the cave. I'm like, what are you doing? Get off the fucking rocks. Oh my gosh. Anyway, she's terrific. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's get this. Oh fuck! I just closed my window. Shit. But let's go to the most important. Let's go to the most important part of this. Roe v. Wade was a landmark decision. Oh, shit. It's on the wiki. Damn. Damn. Fucking hell. Okay, so here's the decision. That we're gonna read here. I'm not gonna read the initial ruling. It does, or the initial description of the ruling. So we're gonna read is the holding and the syllabus. The holding and the syllabus here are really important because they contain the critical points to show that I am correct. That's all I fucking care about. You thought that I would get trashed on Bourbon Tour? We did not have time to do the Bourbon Trail. I want to. All right, so here we go. Bear with me as we do this. I'm going to read. This is old school Rekieta law. Let me get personal with you for a second. This is old school Rekieta law where we read some legal documents and we talk about them. Now, I'm not going to go full old school or we'd be reading whole opinions, and God, it really gets hard to watch, really gets boring. People tune out when I do that. But we're going to read a couple pages of this because all these pages are really critically important. They're the court's syllabus, the court's summary analysis of the decision that they've made, and where the decision goes itself. And that's what we need to, again, prove that, fuck you, I was right. The most important thing in the world is me being vindicated. So here's the holding. The Constitution does not confer a right to abortion. Pretty important. Roe and Casey are overruled, and the authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. Let's be clear. Roe being overturned does not make abortion illegal. It does not make abortion illegal. It can't. The court today is refusing to do what the court did in Roe versus Wade, because what they did in Roe versus Wade was improper. And that is fucking critical. We're going to get to it in a minute. But the Supreme Court made law in Roe versus Wade. It made a thing that was a job of the legislature, not the court. And it's a big part of why it's overturned. The critical question is whether the Constitution, properly understood, confers a right to obtain an abortion. Casey's controlling opinion skipped over that question and reaffirmed Roe solely on the basis of stare decisis. Not just Casey. Every abortion decision was based on this. They were not analyzing the merits of the original decision. They're merely stating that since the original decision existed, it should continue to exist. This is a hard legal concept for people to wrap their minds around, but let me put it this way. If there was a decision, for example, that said black people are less than white people, and the Constitution does not really say that black people are less than white people, or conversely, the Constitution is amended just after the Civil War to say that black people cannot be less than white people. That's the 14th Amendment. Then it doesn't matter that the Supreme Court had previously held that black people are less than white people and need to be in a different place in them. Okay? If that original ruling was either completely erroneous on its own or was changed by a subsequent amendment, or a subsequent amendment clarified why the original holding was bad, then we don't need to stick with the original holding. Because if it was bad, unconstitutional law, then it should remain bad, unconstitutional, or it should be clarified as bad, unconstitutional law. We should not keep unconstitutional law because we made a mistake earlier. And that's fucking weird that so many people are like, I don't care if it was a mistake. Now I want to shove shit in my vagina and kill babies. No, fuck you. That's not how this shit works. You may still be able to shove a bunch of glass rods into your cervix, spread it out, stick some gator clamps in there and crush a baby skull and suck it out with a vacuum cleaner. You may still be able to do that depending on your state. All that happened, the only thing that happened is that the Constitution, the Supreme Court says the Constitution doesn't guarantee you a right to crush up a fetus and suck it out with a vacuum cleaner from that haunted vagina. That's what it says. That's all it says. It doesn't say whether you can or can't. Doesn't say what the states can do. It just says the states have the autonomy and authority to do this, and the federal court does not. We actually have a different question. Federal legislature might be able to regulate abortion through the Commerce Clause. They haven't tried. They haven't tried yet. Oh, and by the way, I apologize in advance for being honest about what the majority of abortions actually are. They're ugly, gruesome procedures. There's a lot of misinformation about what goes on when you have an abortion, but they're like the snuffing out of life is often ugly. And that you can be okay with that, by the way. You can say, well, yeah, but you have a right to do it. Okay, cool. That's certainly a perspective a lot of people have. It's fine. Just be honest about what it is. It's not pretty. It's not like, flowers and rainbows. It's a weird, ugly, invasive decision to make for a lot of women. So, be honest about the procedure. It's what makes so many people mad about this is all of the dishonesty makes it hard to have a discussion. Just a clump of cells. Well, I mean, it's a clump of cells that will definitely become a human. I mean, it already carries all the human DNA pretty quickly, but like it definitely, it's not going to become like a dog or something, unless you're a white chick, I guess. Maybe you fuck dogs, but that's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, back to this. A proper application of stare decisis, however, requires an assessment of the strength of the grounds on which Roe was based. The court therefore turns to the question that the Casey plurality did not consider, and this is important. Casey was not a majority opinion. Casey was a plurality opinion, which means they did not have 5 of 9 justices decide Casey. I mean, they all kind of decided on the direction. They had more than 5 on the direction, but they didn't have more than 5 in agreement on the issues. All right. But more importantly, Casey's court did not consider whether Roe was correctly decided in the first place. Very important. Hold on. Fuck me. Okay, first, the court reviews the standard that the court's cases have used to determine whether the 14th Amendment reference to liberty protects a particular right. The Constitution makes no express reference to a right to obtain an abortion, but several constitutional provisions have been offered as potential homes for an implicit constitutional right. So again, 4th, 9th, 14th is how we get to abortion. Roe held that and I guess the 1st and I guess the 5th under due process, sort of, even though procedural due process is kind of the way. You know the way. Roe held that the abortion right is part of a right to privacy that springs from the 1st, 4th, 5th, 9th, and 14th Amendments. The Casey court grounded its decision solely on the theory that the right to obtain an abortion is part of the liberty protected by the 14th Amendment's due process clause. Others have suggested that support can be found in the 14th Amendment's equal protection clause, but that theory is squarely foreclosed by the court's precedents, which established that a state's regulation of abortion is not a sex-based classification. And believe me, this was intended by proponents of abortion. They do not want it to be a sex-based classification. They do not want to admit the reality that the only people with this level of privacy and a lack of government interference with abortion, with their abortion right, the only people who enjoy this level of it are pregnant women who want their babies dead. That's it. Other women do not have the level of doctor-patient privacy and non-interference from government that anyone else. Try and, ladies, go to your doctor and say, bitch, I want some fucking codeine. Try it. Go to Walgreens and buy 8 packs of Sudafed. Try it. See if you have medical autonomy and a freedom from government interference anywhere else than if you're a woman who is pregnant who wants to kill their baby. That's it. That's fucking it. And so if you're going to say, well, this is that, but they didn't want it to be that. Like, the supporters of abortion have never wanted to admit that that's the reality that they live in. because it's horrifying to think that we only do this for this thing. So it's, no. It's just a general right to body autonomy and medical autonomy, right? Except anybody who's been to a hospital, a clinic, or urgent care in the past, 25 years knows that's not true. It's not true. You cannot get that anywhere else. Only there. So that's a big problem. But so where are we? But since it's not a sex-based classification, you have a much harder time for the government to make it, or much easier time for the government to make a law against it. It's sex-based classification. You get to intermediate scrutiny. Anyway, is thus not subject to the heightened scrutiny that applies to such classifications. Rather, regulations and prohibitions of abortion are governed by the same standard of review as other health and safety measures. It's just health, right? It's just health and safety. Again, not calling it what it is coming back to bite the left. But this is also why this shit is going back to the Supreme Court. And when this goes... when this goes back and when this goes back to the Supreme Court, they're going to have different questions that don't have these legal theories. And that's the important thing to remember. Oh, I should go back. I forgot to re-preface for all the new people. I do not condemn women for having abortions. I don't. I condemn the doctors. I condemn the nurses. I condemn everybody else involved. But women are often panicked. They're scared. And they're lied to. And so I actually do not condemn women for having abortions. I don't. I know good women who have had abortions. I know bad women who have had abortions. It's kind of irrelevant to the character of the person in a lot of ways. I know people disagree with that. That's my assessment. It's fine. I don't personally condemn women who have had abortions. I condemn everybody else involved in the process. So if you're a lady who has had an abortion, I don't pass judgment on you. I got no place for that. My question is this the law? What does it mean? With that being said, this is coming back with different theories. Okay. So we're gonna see that in a minute. But this is just been billed as a health and safety measure. Oh, this is just about health. It's just about everybody's health. We want healthy people. Health stuff should be just fine. But it doesn't work that way in reality. So there's that. Okay, back to this. Next, the court examines whether the right to an abortion is rooted in the nation's history and tradition. Yes. Remember when the founders wrote about abortion all the time? They're like, I'm out here fucking these hoes, fucking these hoes, fucking these hoes. And they keep dropping those babies, dropping those babies, dropping those babies. I'm grabbing my hammer. I'm grabbing my hammer because I don't want to raise no babies. Remember that? Remember that? I think that was in Hamilton. Digging down hoes, but don't reap what I sow. That's probably in Hamilton. Remember that? No one remembers that because the founders didn't write about fucking abortion at all. They didn't ever. It was not part of the cultural zeitgeist. Now, there's multiple reasons for that. Ben Franklin may have aborted some bitches on his own. Girl, let me put these electrodes up to either side of that belly. And, no reason. Don't worry. You won't feel a thing. Bazap! Bazizap! There's a whole lot of reasons for it. Medical technology was not where it is now, or even in 1968, 69, 70, 71, 72, whatever, for Roe versus Wade. Medical technology was very, very different. We had different understandings, and we have an even different understanding today than we did then. It's fine. But that being said, when you're talking about a fundamental right, like there just was not a contemplated, articulated, and vocalized fundamental right to an abortion. It was kind of like this backwoods idea. Like maybe some women drank some teas and spit out their babies. Most people just didn't talk about it. And not talking about something does not mean that it's definitely a right. That's the trick. They talked about guns. They had laws about guns. They had ideas about guns. They had to get guns to fight the wars. They talked about speech. They talked that they'd be fucking killed by the English government for their seditious talk, for the words against the state. They knew what was going on. Quartering soldiers. They talked about standing armies. They talked about putting soldiers in houses. They talked about the Bill of Rights. They didn't talk about abortion ever. It's just not there. All right, so here we go. The court finds that the right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and tradition. The underlying theory on which Casey rested, that the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause provides substantive as well as procedural protection for liberty, has long been controversial. The court's decisions have held that the Due Process Clause protects two categories of substantive rights: those rights guaranteed by the first 8 amendments to the Constitution, those rights deemed fundamental that are not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. In deciding whether a right falls into either of these categories, the question is whether the right is, quote, deeply rooted in our history and tradition, and whether it is essential to this nation's scheme of ordered liberty. The term liberty alone provides little guidance. Thus, historical inquiries are essential whenever the court is asked to recognize a new component of the liberty interests protected by the Due Process Clause. In interpreting what is meant by liberty, the court must guard against the natural human tendency to confuse what the 14th Amendment protects with the court's own ardent views about the liberty Americans should enjoy. Now, this is critical because it's not just the courts, but it's all of ours, right? All of our ideas about liberty. My ideas about liberty are not acceptable ideas in much of polite society. We're not allowed to enjoy liberty in the way that I think we should enjoy liberty. For me, drugs, yeah. Prostitution, sure. Whatever the fuck you want to do. Don't infringe on the rights of someone else. That's basically my line. But that's not actually what the Constitution says. That's a strong libertarian / anarchist conception of what government should be. But that's not what the Constitution is, nor has it ever been. And that's critical to this. Bitches who want to stab babies with syringes and shit, they are on this area. They become the most anti-government libertarian communists you've ever seen. They're like, stay away from my vagina. Only I shove shit in there and kill stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nowhere else are they like this. Nowhere else do they believe in this much liberty, only on abortion. So anyway, just getting back to this idea, there's a difference between what our view of liberty is and what liberty is under the Constitution. And it's a critical distinction. So that has to be considered here, and that's what's being considered by the court. What does the Constitution allow? Because that's the thing that ends up mattering. Okay, so here we go. For this reason, the court has been reluctant to recognize rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution. Guided by the history and tradition that map the essential components of the nation's concept of ordered liberty, court finds the 14th Amendment clearly does not protect the right to an abortion, and no one knows why it ever did. Remembering that the 14th Amendment's purpose was twofold. Blacks born as slaves are citizens. 1. That is a critical element of the 14th Amendment. Number two. Blacks in southern states deserve the same protections of the law as whites in northern states. Boom. Done. I've just answered all of the 14th Amendment's purpose originally can be distilled to those 2 points. One, blacks born as slaves are now full citizens of the United States. And two, blacks in the South get the same protections of law as whites in the North. Now, it would not manifest for another 100 years at least. Some say we're still not there. I think we are, but some say we're not. Whatever. It's impossible to agree on this, but at least until Brown versus Board. At least until Brown versus Board, overturning Plessy versus Ferguson. We weren't there. But the 14th Amendment has been used for a lot of shit that isn't in it and has nothing to do with it. And that's what we're talking about here. Roe versus Wade has nothing to do with the 14th Amendment. And never did. It never had anything to do with any of that. Okay, until the latter part of the 20th century, there was no support in American law for a constitutional right to obtain an abortion. No state constitutional provision had recognized such a right. Until a few years before Roe, no federal or state court had recognized such a right, nor had any scholarly treaties. Indeed, abortion had long been a crime in every single state. At common law, abortion was criminal in at least some stages of pregnancy and was regarded as unlawful and could have very serious consequences at all stages. American law followed the common law until a wave of statutory restrictions in the 1800s expanded criminal liability for abortions. In the 1800s, they said, we got to stop these fucking bitches killing babies. By the time the 14th Amendment was adopted, 3/4 of the states had made abortion a crime at any stage of pregnancy. So 75% of states in 1869 or whatever, 3/4 of the states had made abortion a crime at any stage. Birth to delivery. This consensus endured until the day Roe was decided. 3/4 of states until the 1972, I think, ruling of Roe versus Wade had it illegal. This is the best. Roe either ignored or misstated this history, and Casey declined to consider Roe's faulty historical analysis. You got to read this in the language of a judge. Read it in the language of a judge. Misstated the history, says the court fucking lied. The court fucking lied. That's what they said. It's a hard thing for some people to swallow. The Supreme Court, in making its Roe versus Wade decision, lied. It lied. Respondents' argument that this history does not matter flies in the face of the standard the court has applied in determining whether an asserted right that is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution is nevertheless protected by the 14th Amendment. The Solicitor General, this is the government lawyer, repeats Roe's claim that it is doubtful abortion was ever firmly established as a common law crime, even with respect to the destruction of a quick fetus. But the great common law authorities, Bracton, Koch, Hale, and Blackstone, all wrote that a post-quickening abortion was a crime. All the common law authorities said, yeah, it's fucking crime. They I can't express to you enough. The 9 men who decided Roe versus Wade lied. The 9 men lied. You know why they lied? They wanted to put their dick into a pussy, ejaculate into it, and force that intern to abort the baby. Seven men, whatever the fuck it was. 7 of 9 men. Okay, so it's a fucking Borg. Got it. Got it. That's what they wanted to do. Moreover, many authorities asserted that even a pre-quickening abortion was unlawful, and that as a result, an abortionist. So again, this is going back to the difference between a female getting an abortion and a doctor helping her. Was guilty of murder if the woman died from the attempt. The Solicitor General suggests that history supports an abortion right because the common law's failure to criminalize abortion before quickening, but the insistence on quickening was not universal. And regardless, the fact that many states in the late 18th and 19th century did not criminalize pre-quickening abortions does not mean that anyone thought the states lacked the authority to do so. Again, a critical distinction. Just because a state doesn't make something illegal doesn't mean it can't. Instead of seriously pressing the argument that the abortion right itself has deep roots, supporters Roe and Casey contend that the abortion right is an integral part of a broader entrenched right. Roe termed this a right to privacy. Casey described it as the freedom to make intimate and personal choices that are central to personal dignity and autonomy. Oh, shit. It says ordered liberty sets limits and defines the boundary between competing interests. Roe and Casey each struck a particular balance between the interests of a woman who wants an abortion and the interests of what they termed potential life. But the people of the various states may evaluate those interests differently. The nation's historical understanding of ordered liberty does not prevent the people's elected representatives from deciding how abortion should be regulated. And this is key, of course. States get to decide this. The states get to determine what they want. But they don't for everything. Like a state can't say, ha, we like slavery, because the nation has a foundational principle that was pretty specifically reinforced in the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendments, that slavery is bad. So we don't do slavery anymore. We've decided slavery is not okay. We wrote it down specifically. We said, yeah, slavery is not okay, though. I can see how some of you are confused, but keeping a man, woman in shackles and forcing them to labor, not the best plan. But the states get to decide almost everything. There's a couple things in the Bill of Rights that the states don't get to decide. That's okay. Finally, the court considers whether a right to obtain an abortion is part of the broader entrenched right that is supported by other precedents. The court concludes the right to obtain an abortion cannot be justified as a component of such a right. Attempts to justify abortion through appeals to a broader right to autonomy and to define one's concept of existence prove too much. Of course they prove too much, because every time you want to, I have bodily autonomy, they're like, get a fucking vaccine, you simp. And it's over. Wear a mask. No, I have bodily autonomy that says I don't have to wear a mask. Wear a mask. But I like my virus. I identify as COVID. Wear a fucking mask. Of course they fail. They fail because they're ridiculous. Those criteria at a high level of generality could license fundamental rights to, and this is a question. Does the Constitution contemplate a fundamental right to illicit drug use, prostitution, and the like? No. Should prostitution be legal? Yes. Should the Constitution demand prostitution as a fundamental right? Probably not. That's the difference. That's the difference. What sharply distinguishes the abortion right from the rights recognized in the cases on which Roe and Casey rely is something that both the decisions acknowledge. Abortion is different because it destroys what Roe termed potential life, what the law challenged in this case calls an unborn human being. This is a critical distinction for Alito here. None of the other decisions cited by Roe and Casey involved the critical moral question posed by abortion. In fact, Roe expressly said, we are not here to answer the moral question. Accordingly, those cases do not support the right to obtain an abortion, and the court's conclusion that the Constitution does not confer such a right does not undermine them in any way. So there you go. The doctrine, here we go. The doctrine of stare decisis. This is my fuck you, I was right, razor fist moment. The doctrine of stare decisis does not counsel continued acceptance of Roe and Casey. Stare decisis plays an important role and protects the interests of those who have taken action in reliance upon a past decision. This is I was on a stream with Destiny. And there's this weird fucking lawyer who had just graduated law school but had not yet passed the bar. His name's Pisco. Emphasis on the co, not the piss. And he said, and the argument came down to, do you value stare decisis? And I said, well, up to a point, you know. Stare decisis has value. It is the weight of what a prior court had adjudicated. But if the ultimate decision was bad, then why would we adhere to it with stare decisis? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm a simple fucking man. If you have an unconstitutional decision, it should be reversed. Straight out. Like literally no other consideration. If the decision runs afoul of the Constitution, it should be reversed. Period. And I said this, and these weirdo fucking lawyers were flabbergasted at the idea that I would have the audacity to suggest that there is a different way, that there is something else, that we don't have to accept that a decision that exists should keep existing just because it exists. It's crazy to me. So stare decisis, that's the it, reduces incentives for challenging settled precedents, saving parties and courts the expense of endless litigation. It contributes to the actual and perceived integrity of the judicial process, and it restrains judicial hubris by respecting the judgment of those who grapple with important questions of the past. Yes. But again, if you come to the fundamental understanding that the original decision was wrong, then you should always fucking reverse it. But stare decisis is not an inexorable command and is at its weakest when the court interprets the Constitution. Some of the court's most important constitutional decisions have overruled prior precedents, going to Brown versus Board, overruling Plessy versus Ferguson. The court's cases have identified factors that should be considered in deciding when a precedent should be overruled. Janus versus State County. This is where we get good. 5 factors discussed below weigh strongly in favor of overruling Roe and Casey. This is the meat. This is the fucking meat. Deathhawk, I am drinking. I've been drinking. It's your fault I'm not. Since you're not drinking, let's go to here. Back to Super Chats. Matthew Vicari. Nick, wait. Why didn't you just jail smuggle the pearls on the plane? My prison wallet is closed. Not a party loyalist says, had my first young, worked 2 jobs, got my GED and associates, got married, had 2 more, got my bachelor's in developmental psych. I will always tell my 3 girls to fight for what you want. regardless of the PC message. Yes. And that's what you should do. We have a representative republic. You're allowed to support all sorts of everything. You're allowed to support abortion. You're allowed to support non-abortion. You're allowed to do all this. Only recently, and very intentionally, have we decided that the left side of the political spectrum is the only side that gets to have a fucking say. Where did that come from? Because I didn't do it and you didn't do it. But think about that. Why is it always only one side of the political aisle that gets its way, that gets to have an opinion, that all other opinions are racist, bigoted, whatever? Why is it like that? It's because the majority of reporters have that opinion. All right, here we go. But yeah, always tell your kids to fight for what they believe in. I don't care how much it disagrees with what I believe in. That's the point of the republic. Kid Funky Friday says, the only time my bag was searched by TSA, I just got home from Afghanistan. I was on leave. Instead of cutting my lock, they cut open the bag. So I'm in uniform, picking up my clothes and baggage pickup. Super entertaining. Fuck. New Age Cuck says, hey, Rackets, how do I go about talking to my pro baby killing friends? Want nothing to do with pro-lifers like myself. Don't do it. Why do you need to do that with your friends? You just don't. Rescue Michigan says, in for a penny, in for a pound. So why didn't the court define life at conception? We told you 50 years ago in Roe to do it and you didn't do it. So now we will. When your life and rights begin, shouldn't be a state issue. The reason they didn't is because they want the states. The states have people that are allowed to disagree with where this right begins and ends. They don't really care where life begins and ends. And that's an arbitrary factor, frankly. Like, life begins at conception. Well, that doesn't answer the next question. And the court isn't a scientist. So the court says, we'll ignore the question and let states decide when life is protectable in the state. Sergeant Orc, tadpoles are not frogs, caterpillars are not butterflies, fetuses are not people, stack them like cordwood. First of all, caterpillars and tadpoles go through fundamental changes that are different than a fetus to a baby. But tell me why a fetus is not a baby. Like, scientifically, what's the difference? I'd love to hear it. Jose Vega, hey, Rackets, how was your vacation? I was asked to be the best man for my best friend Adam's wedding. Do you have any advice for best man speech? Jose, I have never been the best man, nor have I ever given a best man speech. I got no advice for you. Not a single fucking person has ever asked me to be a best man. Don't know. Kind of feeling left out. AD says, someone says that abortion was legal before quickening during colonial times, so it's tradition, and women were not equals, so the Palco test is not going to find a right for women, of course. Yeah. How about this? In colonial times, it was legal to pirate videos. It's hard to find videos, but it was legal to pirate them. So therefore, it's legal to pirate shit. Intellectual property rights were not clearly established until much later. So there you go. Have that. These historical arguments don't make sense, other than the question of, was it a fundamental right? If it's a fundamental right, recognized at the time of the 14th Amendment, then we have to ask, or whatever amendment you're going for, then we have to ask those questions. But it wasn't. That's the problem. It wasn't even close. CSQ Ward says, would you be my best man? There now someone asks you, only if I can do the ceremony naked. All right, here we go. AD, wait, read that one. Sergen, if you can find a right in the Constitution with no basis in the text or history, there's no limit to the court's power to create arbitrary rights. We were closer to a tyranny than most would admit. Not only that, they go into this, and we'll see if we get there, but the Supreme Court lays out that what the court did in Roe was literally writing law. They wrote a statute. They effectively wrote a statute. And that's part of the problem. They didn't just decide something was or wasn't constitutional and then leave it at that. They wrote a system by which people could determine constitutionality or whatever, or not constitutionality, could determine procedure and draw ideas. And it looked like what a legislature would write. And we'll get there in just a minute. But that's part of the problem. The court's not supposed to legislate from the bench. All right, so here are the 5 factors. First, the nature of the court's error. Like the infamous decision in Plessy, Roe was also egregiously wrong and on a collision course with the Constitution from the day it was decided. Yes! Thank you. Fucking thank you for recognizing that it was always going to come to this. When they asked Amy Coney Barrett those bullshit questions about what a super precedent was and all that, you know, so they struggle with Roe. The reason they struggle with Roe is because it's always been at odds with the Constitution. The Constitution, which says protect life, liberty, property. It says all these things, but Roe ignores all of them. All right. Casey perpetuated its errors, calling both sides of the national controversy to resolve their debate. But in doing so, Casey necessarily decided a winning side. So Casey says, oh, these parties need to come together. But by the way, abortion is super fucking legal and you can do it any way you want. I'm getting drunk. That's not quite what Casey said, but we're going with it. Those on the losing side, those who sought to advance the state's interest in fetal life, could no longer seek to persuade their elected representatives to adopt policies consistent with their views. The court short-circuited the democratic process by closing it to the large number of Americans who disagree with Roe. And this is another critical aspect of the Constitution and, more importantly, of the Supreme Court's decisions. The Constitution, when you amend something and you make it a fundamental or protected right, you tell the public that they no longer get to participate in this decision, ever. And the number of times where that should happen should be extremely rare. All right, public, I know you're voters, I know you love us, but you don't get to have a say in this. No one seems to care that that's what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said you don't even get a voice or a vote. Well then, not having a voice or a vote is kind of a problem in our society. So it better be real fucking good reason why you can't. Abortion is not a great reason for it. Uh-oh. Drinking too much. It'd be great. Okay. All right, here we go. Next, the quality of the reasoning. Without any grounding in the constitutional text, history, or precedent, Roe imposed on the entire country a detailed set of rules for pregnancy, divided into trimesters, much like those that one might expect to find in a statute or regulation. So this is what I was talking about earlier about their legislating from the bench. Roe's failure even to note the overwhelming consensus of state laws in effect in 1868 is striking. And what it said about the common law was simply wrong. Then, after surveying history, the opinion spent many paragraphs conducting the sort of fact-finding that might be undertaken by a legislative committee and did not explain why the sources on which it relied shed light on the meaning of the Constitution. As to precedent, citing a broad array of cases, the court found support for a constitutional right of personal privacy. But Roe conflated the right to shield information from disclosure and the right to make and implement important personal decisions without government interference. So there's a couple things here. If you are a Sudafed addict, you are not compelled to tell the government, and can't be. You cannot be compelled to tell the government that you're a Sudafed addict or a meth addict, we'll say. The government cannot compel you to say, I am a meth addict. What the government can prevent you from doing, however, is buying Sudafed. Okay? That's the privacy right or interest. You can shield from disclosure to government a thing. That doesn't mean the government can stop you from doing a thing. Your Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. Great. You don't have to tell the government that you shot someone in an alley. Now, if like the police ask you questions, that's a different story. But you don't have to go affirmatively tell them, yeah, I shot someone in an alley. But they can say that shooting someone in an alley is illegal. This is a big part of Roe versus Wade. None of these decisions involved what is discussed distinctive about abortion, its effect on what Roe termed potential life. When the court summarized the basis for the scheme it imposed on the country, it asserted that its rules were consistent with, among other things, the relative weights, the prospective interests involved, and demands of the profound problems of the present day. These are precisely the sort of considerations that legislative bodies often take into account when they draw lines that accommodate competing interests. The scheme Roe produced looked like legislation, and the courts provided the sort of explanation that might be suspected from a legislative body. An even more glaring deficiency was Roe's failure to justify the critical distinction it drew between pre- and post-viability abortions. The arbitrary viability line, which Casey termed Roe's central rule, has not found much support among philosophers and ethicists who have attempted to justify a right to an abortion. The obvious problem with any such argument is that viability has changed over time, is heavily dependent on factors such as medical advances and the availability of quality medical care, nothing to do with the characteristics of a fetus. Yes, for some people, fetal viability is lower than others because they have access to technology, medical technology, they have money, whatever it is. They get to say, well, I can just have this. I can just have a healthy baby, even if it's born at 29 weeks. But if you're in the wrong part of the country, or you don't have the money, or you don't have the resources to stay in the hospital, whatever it is, a 29 week, 27 week baby suddenly becomes a ticking time bomb. All right. When Casey revisited Roe almost 20 years later, it reaffirmed Roe's central holding, but pointedly refrained from endorsing most of its reasoning. The court abandoned any reliance on a privacy right, instead grounded the abortion right entirely on the 14th Amendment due process clause. Let me just tell you why this is, because I think it was in 1957, you have Katz versus the United States. And I'm pretty sure it was in Katz where they said that a privacy right, well, it wasn't in Katz. Sorry, it wasn't in Katz. It was in the subsequent cases that went through banks that are relied on the line from Katz. But if you share via a legitimate business interest information with a private company, okay, then that information is not a protected privacy interest because the company records it. You know they're going to record it because it's in their business interest, and they're a third party to it. This started with banks because people wanted to pay drug dealers directly by check, drug, alcohol, whatever. And the banks were like, hey, we got a list of these weird transactions on checks. Kind of look like maybe they're buying bootleg alcohol, right? And so then they go in and they say, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't write this check. It's based on you buying alcohol. Well, how'd you find that? That seems illegal. They're like, well, your bank told us. Why'd the bank tell you that seems illegal? Well, they had an immediate interest in disclosing the information that runs contrary to your rights. So fuck you. Fuck you. Instead grounded the controlling opinion criticized and rejected Roe's trimester scheme, substituted new and obscure undue burden test. Casey, in short, either refused to reaffirm or rejected important aspects of Roe's analysis, failed to remedy glaring deficiencies in Roe's reasoning, endorsed what it termed Roe's central holding, while suggesting that a majority might not have thought it was correct, providing no new support for the abortion right other than Roe's status as precedent, and imposed a new test, no firm grounding in constitutional text, history, or precedent. So this is that new test, workability. Deciding whether a precedent should be overruled depends on part on whether the rule imposes is workable. That is, whether it can be understood and applied in a consistent and predictable manner. Casey's undue burden test is scored poorly on the workability scale. Okay, I'm going to skip most of this shit. This is the critical fucking part. How do you implement undue burden? What does that look like to you? What does that look like to a lawmaker, to a court? You say, this law provides an undue burden. That's a burden that is not due. Well, what the fuck is that? Seems subjective, right? So how can we have a guiding constitutional principle that's subjective? Effect on other areas of law. Roe and Casey have led to the distortion of many important but unrelated legal doctrines, and that effect provides further support for overruling those decisions. Okay, so procedural due process has affected other stuff. For example, gay marriage, not as directly as people want to make it out to be, but gay marriage, anti-sodomy laws, anti-pornography laws. Procedural due process asks questions about this stuff. Does it matter? Ultimately, no. I mean, people will cite this opinion favorably to try and eliminate those things, but let's take a brief second to talk about the difference between abortion and what do I pick? Fuck, I have no idea where I was even going with this. Too much to drink. How do I word this? Okay. Let's go with, we've got it. Gay marriage. This is where I was going. Sorry. My brain broke with the liquor. Keemstar tweeted the other day that the Supreme Court is coming for gay marriage next. All right. Here's the deal. Let's be real about the issue. Marriage has long been a fundamental right. Marriage has been something that states recognize the existence of. Not that states confer a right to. Your state does not confer a right of marriage to you. Your state recognizes your right of marriage. Now, for a very, very long time, until 2015, the state did not recognize the rights of gays to marry. They're like, we don't recognize that putting a PP in a male butthole is akin to marriage. We don't understand that. We don't think that that's real. Up until 2015, the states won on that issue pretty commonly. They said, no, the states get to define marriages between a man and woman. Okay, cool. Personally, I think that's the state should be allowed this, but here's the difference. In 2015, Supreme Court says, no, 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 no. We have decided that gay marriage is a fundamental right. So what does that mean? Does that mean we're like this abortion thing? Well, no. Here's why. Loving versus Virginia is the interracial marriage thing. It has recognized prior to this one that marriage is a fundamental right. Why is marriage a fundamental right? Because the bonding of man and woman should always supersede government. Always, 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 always has, always should. Government acknowledging and giving some sort of benefit, maybe, to a marriage is different from a marriage. From me saying, I take this person, that person saying, I take this asshole, right? Like that is separate from whether or not anyone should do anything or anything else. The government doesn't have a say. They never did. People marry all the time without government consent. They don't get the government benefits of marriage without doing it, but they marry on their own. And that's really fucking important. The government is not stopping anyone from that marriage. And it never should. And that's what makes gay marriage critically different, is that marriage has always been a part of this. Gay marriage is a new part of it, but the Supreme Court has a ruling that says sexual orientation is sex under the 14th Amendment. I disagree with the ruling, but that is the ruling, that is the holding, and there's no reason to overturn that. So now we go, okay, marriage is a fundamental right. These fucking faggots want to get married. Well, we're going to give these fucking fags what they want because we have to, because we've recognized that marriage is a fundamental right. It's an individual right. It's a personal right. The state can't stop you from it. And if you want to tie your dicks together, go fucking do it. Right? That's way different from abortion. All right. Did I explain that well? Probably not. Skyrim 96 says, I can't stand most Republicans in office. Almost none of them have talked about getting rid of the assault weapon ban, which needs to be taken out of the law. If I want to scar H, I should be able to own. The Constitution says so. I agree. Ken's counseling couch. What's up, Ken? Want to thank a fellow therapist tonight for helping with a consult for my friend to help a kid who's finally found a will to live and not end their life. Please check out Calming the Chaos on YouTube. Click and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Very cool. Calming the Chaos. Check them out. Solarial X. My wife told me about an older Polynesian belief that your soul enters upon first breath. That's why she was pro-choice until we had our first kid. Yeah, and the quickening is based on a medieval idea that the soul enters your body when the body starts moving. We know that's incorrect. We know that that is not an accurate assessment of biology or philosophy. Okay, finally, reliance interests. Overruling Roe and Casey will not upend Concrete's reliance interests like those that develop in cases involving property and contract rights. Casey, the controlling opinion, conceded that traditional reliance interests were not implicated because getting an abortion is generally unplanned activity and reproductive planning can take virtually immediate account of any sudden restoration of state authority to ban abortions. Instead, the opinion perceived a more intangible form of reliance, namely that people had organized intimate relationships and made choices that define their views of themselves and their places in society in reliance on the availability of abortion in the event that the contraception should fail, and that the ability of women to participate equally in the economic and social life of the nation has been facilitated by their ability to control their reproductive lives. Women, I'm not going to read the rest of this. That's where we're stopping. Women, all you bitches and hoes out there who want to take all that semen in but not spit out any babies. I'm just kidding. But I'm not, though. You fucking whore. All of those women out there who want to do that, you, by proponents of abortion, are reduced to only what goes into and comes out of your vagina. Literally nothing else. Your definition as a woman is your ability to produce an offspring to the Roe versus Wade supporters. That's all they care about. It's amazing. Your entire identity is reduced to that. And has been for a long fucking time. Stop letting these people tell you that you're literally only valuable because of what's between your legs. Because if anybody else did that, you would go like this. Ew. Imagine Ron Perlman walks up to you. Imagine Ron Perlman walks up to you and says, "Hey, girl, I want to open up that pussy and get inside it. I want to walk my ass in there. It's got to be cavernous." Right? Imagine Ron Perlman does that. Most women would be repulsed by the idea of Ron Perlman doing that. But that's what pro-choice people have been doing forever. They're obfuscating the argument. They're reducing a woman's experience to specifically what goes into and comes out of her vagina. And that to me is wrong. Unless I'm the thing going into the vagina, then that's all I care about. And fuck you. And I know I don't want to talk about it. Do you want to hear about my thoughts on art? No, bitch. I don't. Spread them. I'm coming to town. Like, no, of course not. But when we do that, when we as men do that, that's typically a problem. I've got to tell you, there's a bunch of fucking women doing that to you right now. There's a bunch of politicians doing that to you right now. All they want to do is tell you what goes in and comes out of your pussy. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. All the court has done, and this is where we're going to wrap this up. We're going to go to unbreaded and all that stuff. But all the court has done is said, no, actually, the people get to decide. Those people have state representatives in their states. The state representatives will make, argue, and fight over law. Those people will be able to vote them out if they have to. That's it. That's it. That's all they decided. You get to go to your states. All is coming back to the Supreme Court, by the way, if you missed my earlier discussion about it. May come back to the Supreme Court. I hope they decide the same. Fuck you. Fuck you right in the pussy. No. I mean, legitimately, stop killing babies. That's my personal opinion. Please stop fucking killing babies. If you want to kill babies, that's on you. I'm not gonna condemn you. I'm not gonna argue. I've made my arguments. You didn't listen the first time. You're not gonna listen now, but stop killing babies. All right. Tad Bake says Nick idolizes predators. What predator do I idolize, Tad Bakes? You fucking faggot. What do you got? Hit me with it. Hit me with it, you bitch. What predator do I idolize? Try it. Try me. Because I can guarantee you're fucking wrong. So it's a weirdo fucking take. Think he means Jesse Lee Peterson? Oh, you think I first of all, you think I idolize Jesse Lee Peterson, and two, you fully trust the reporting on that one? Heard some dubious stuff about the reporting on it. Haven't looked into it yet. Haven't had time, but That being said, do you think I idolize Jesse Lee Peterson? I think he's the best interviewer on media because he is. Well, idolize him? What I idolize a single man? I don't think so. But name a but name it. Name your purpose. Here's your 5 seconds. He said it's amazing. So I guess it's Jesse Lee Peterson. Well, you don't understand what idolizing means, but that's okay. Gotcha. You fucking failed that test. You had one job. Joseph Gunan, the size of protests in states where stricter laws will be enacted appeared pretty small compared to states where nothing will be changing. Seems pretty representative of the views of the populace. Isn't that what they want? No, they don't want the views of the populace. These people are central planners. These people are central planners. They are statists. They don't want the views of the populace. They don't want the representative republic. They want either direct democracy or communism, which are both the fucking same. Skyrim 96, I can't stand dating. It's almost impossible to find a woman my age who hasn't had 15 men inside them or one that's loyal as a guy. I want a woman who has self-respect and who's loyal these days. It's almost impossible to do so. Look, I don't know. I can't particularly comment on that. What I can say is this. Good luck, brother. Good fucking luck. I don't know how to answer that question for you. Okay. Let me get the rest of the super chats pulled up. And I think we're caught up. I just want to make sure we're ready for after Unbreaded. Oh shit, I can't even read anymore. Okay, here we go. So we're going to read super chats, then Unbreaded, then I'm going to bed because I got a fucking early morning. And to the Discord, anybody from the Discord who actually watches the show, you're the worst fucking people on earth. And you know it, so that's cool at least. To anyone on the Discord who still watches the show, I will try and do a live chat Wednesday tomorrow when I get home, but I'm not going to do it while driving because Lady Rackets will be with me and I'll be looking at her beautiful breasts. The entire who even looks at the road? That being said, here we go. Michael Torres says, recovering from that butt blasting from Malice. I think people are overblowing Michael Malice's trolling as a butt blasting, but that's the language of the internet. I stopped recovering 0.038 seconds after it happened, and someone pointed out, they're like, oh, this is a troll from Malice. And I looked at it and I was like, but I'm right, though. It's an incorrect assessment. Why the fuck am I reading these? We got to read Unbreaded. Backgoat says, Pony Boner 49, bread is good. Bread is delicious, but you should be unbreaded. And you know it. What the fuck are you doing with your life? You disgusting pile of shit. Unbreaded! Here we go. It's time for the Daily Unbreaded. Let's see what we get. 115. Oh, baby. That's a new page, I'm pretty sure. I'm fucking tossed, y'all. I don't have the hat. I can't do the hat. The hat's upstairs. Fuck. I shouldn't have drank before the stream, but I did. I did. It's Lady Raggeds' fault. She's like, oh, yeah, go ahead and drink before the stream. That'll be fine. It's not fine. It's not fucking fine. Not a fucking phase. No, it's not a fucking phase. Oh shit. The pests who brag about bullshit they don't deserve. The Matt Harris interrogates all the music he hears. He doesn't dwell, but when something seems fishy to him, he knows how to handle it. He knows when he hears music that is full of shit. He knows My Girl Wants to Party All the Time is the Uncle Tom anthem. It might get updated for the times, but that song is an eternal message. It sings, have fun, not war. It sings to Negroes to let the war wait while we take the fun the lesser man gives us. It sings, let's just be silly and compromise for the sake of pleasure and distractions. It sings that sex and quicker gratification is better than winning the real war. The real war must and will be fought. The real war must and will happen. The real war is needed for the Matt Harris to get to his destiny. No more protesting in circles around City Hall. The time is right for war, genocide, and decimation. I mean it. You know it. The goal is not to make as much bullshit money in the lesser man system as possible, or to fuck as many women as possible, like the lesser man wants you to. The goal is to kill as largely and as comprehensively as possible. The goal is to kill and to finish the genocide. The goal is to erase the other tribes, all of them, from existence, and to steal their belongings, steal their horses, homes, and hoes, steal their riches, rides, and RIP they sons. The goal is to build a mountain of lesser skulls for the skull throne in one corner of Detroit and a hill of their organs and eyeballs across the street. The Matt Harris sees money as a tool to kill in the lesser kingdom. The Matt Harris doesn't stand inside lesser money. He doesn't see himself as surrounded by it. No matter how much he has, he doesn't believe in it any more than he believes in the shallow promises of lesser men. But he holds money like he holds a lesser man's arm behind his back and twists it. Hashtag jujitsu. The Matt Harris holds lesser money like he holds a lesser child's arm in a chokehold. The Matt Harris chokes the lesser child like they choke our children to death. The Matt Harris chokes lesser children with fear and with bullets. The Matt Harris hits the lesser children for slavery. The Matt Harris punches a lesser kid for just being lesser. The Matt Harris knows hate against a lesser person is more justice than famous Binger ever achieved in his lifetime. The Matt Harris knows that killing a lesser kid is a sacred act. The Matt Harris knows that. The Matt Harris knows that killing lessers is a divine act of retaliation. The Matt Harris knows. He doesn't need to talk to lesser people to prove it. He don't prove shit to his inferiors. He kills them and they kids to bless the world. Why I love famous Binger music artists. Dat Binger showed up looking like something from a different century, then proceeded to whoop everybody's ass. He looked like a majestic warlock from a fantasy novel or RPG. He looked like some shit that swings axes and throws spears that put curses on your tribe. Dat Binger, and he was thoroughly Binger, decided to go fuck up the crackers who was stealing our music. He didn't die. Dat Binger created a portal and left. Dat Binger opened up a different dimension with his music and left us after leaving behind music that didn't really come from here. He showed lesser people, nah, you can't really do this. He showed them, yo, you ain't really about this music. He said, yo, this ain't yours to fuck with. Let me put you down before I bounce. And left without missing a beat. Dat Binger predicted the lesser extermination. Dat Binger said, you can't fuck with Binger music. This is mine. And I'm going to fly around you like a meteorite before I leave you rotting like putrid entrails on the side of the gutter. My Binger, famous Binger musician, ain't die. He left all martyrs do, we open the portal up and hop through. If you scare to death, you never get to paradise. All you need to get there is to kill the enemy without fear. Remember that, my binger. Remember that, Matt Harris. Don't die. You get to be immortal and go anywhere you design. Life has chapters or scenes. It breaks down into sections. When the next section loads up, maybe a month from now, maybe this summer, that's when you arrive into place you was asking to go previously. You are asking right now for the next chapter. Everyone you meet is a potential scene to read for the next chapter. You got to charge fearlessly to what you want. You gotta. Unbreaded. That was our daily unbreaded. Sorry, I don't have a Popat for it today. Okay. Skyrim 96 says, I do agree with RGE, though. The sexual revolution was a positive for men who like sex, negative for women, but they spun it as a positive for women when it wasn't. Yes, of course it was. Men were in power during the sexual revolution. Do you think men vote their own power out? Would you? Are you some sort of beta fucking cuckold? Jason McConnell says, I, for one, am here for the Unabomber Matt Harris 2024 ticket. Leave no bread up in this bitch. Okay, I'll read this chat from Cynthia, even though it's really fucking estrogen-y. Dare you to ask the actual libertarian men in chat to put hands up who disagrees with you. At least 10 here do, but you know, men gay. If you're a dumb libertarian faggot who thinks that the Supreme Court telling people that they cannot direct their own destinies on abortion at the state level is the libertarian position, then promptly fucking kill yourselves. Raise your hand, grab the noose, and pull it up because you're fucking dumb. Cynthia, don't talk to me about libertarianism. You're not a libertarian. You never were. And that's fine. You don't need to be, but don't try and pretend. Don't try and pretend it doesn't suit you. Bizaced and libertarian pilled. If you think libertarianism doesn't respect the most fundamental of rights, which is life, of the most vulnerable of people, which is barely alive, then you don't understand libertarianism at all. And anyone who calls themselves libertarian, but it's like, you know what? The right of a child to live, I don't really fucking care about that. If there's a mom or a parent or a person who wants a child dead, then you literally do not understand libertarianism and never fucking had. Libertarianism is the minimum amount of intrusion, but always, always, always respecting the fundamental rights of the parties involved. Roe never considered, paid lip service to, but never considered the right of the fetus, for those fucking weirdos that like that word, to live. They never considered it. So we're not going to make a moral judgment on this. What all they did was they considered the state's interest in what they called a potential life, because they were literally retarded and didn't know about human gestation and realized that at the time that they talked about the third trimester, by the way, that what was in the womb was a literal fucking baby. We're not talking about a fetus. People keep going back to this fetus thing. Fetus. It's not a fetus at the points they're talking about. Even in Casey, fetal viability does not mean some less than human thing. I mean, that's clearly a person. It's a people. It's developed enough to be a people. It always has been. In Roe, they didn't know. In Casey, they did, which makes it worse. But if you think that libertarianism doesn't believe that the one job of government is to decide to enforce the rights of the lesser individual versus the bigger individual, that's the only job of government, is to preserve the minor fundamental rights interactions that exist, then you don't understand. And Cynthia, I never expected you to. Here's the deal. When you put on the mask of something else, you will never get it right. You're just not. I'm going to wear the mask of libertarianism. Check me out, fellow libertarians. You never were, and you never will be a libertarian until you tuck up your vagina up into itself and start being a real fucking woman. I don't know what to tell you. So you didn't actually ask your chat? No, I don't fucking care. First of all, I've laid out what libertarianism is, which you don't understand. And two, I don't care what my chat says. Fuck them. If I cared what my chat says, do you think I'd give a show on Roe versus Wade? If I cared what my chat said, would I do 90% of the shit I do? No. Who fucking cares? What, I'm supposed to change my opinion because of the chat? Have you met them? Half of them are retarded and the other half are pretending. No, fuck off. Kind of weird person changes their opinion based on someone else. Cynthia, have you asked the chat about any of your fundamental views? A single one of them? Try it. See how that goes. We'll take your test. You change your mind based on what my chat says. And when you do, I'll change my mind based on what my chat says. Try that one out. That seems fair. Seems a good compromise, I would think. Should we do that? Cynthia, you think that's a good plan? Like, is that how you run your life? I fucking hope not. Oh my God, talk about taking the suicide pill every day. Shit. Anyway, all right. So we've got Katomi Chiutanichi. Thank you for the donation. All right, we're gonna do the rest of the super chats now. Oh fuck, we've got shit over on Odyssey. I meant to get these earlier. Sorry. Oh Gonzo, I apologize. Except I don't. Wait, no, I don't. Fuck you. Gonzo says, as a guacamelian, I can say coffee is our pride and joy. Thank you, Gonzo. Okay, where were we? Potentially criminal says Roe was bad, hoes mad. True. The Scott 16. I remember when men purposefully pushing women out of industries was considered toxic masculinity. Now it's just called trans activism. Hope this made you chuckle, Nick. It did. Oh fuck. Skyrim 96 says, I also agree with Crowder when it comes to trans and women's sports. He said, women, you push men away and said no badges, no opinion. And woman, it's up to you to fix the problems that you made. Men can no longer help you. That may be true. Backcoat says, chat stinks. Cynthia's right. I'm going to shame cry now. Yeah, Katomi Chiutanichi, it censored you. Tag, is C Goody in the chat still? Tag C Goody. Maybe you can send it to me. Timothy Reaper, I think people should be allowed to keep midgets as pets. Everyone should change their minds to agree with me. Well, that's true. That's actually true. William Barnes, fetuses need guns, so when the doc spreads legs, Glock points out and says, "No, you." Maureen Guichard sent me a pair, thank you, sad Magikarp. Regarding the Roe versus Wade thing, the solution is simple. Either use contraception, accept the risk, or live like a nun. There you go. There you go. Men have the similar decision to make. The interesting thing is that men have never had as much power as women in the situation, because if the woman gets pregnant, the man's fucked. If she wants to keep the baby, he's fucked either way. He doesn't get a say. Same level of responsibility for both of them, but his choice will never, ever be there. Cynthia says, "Bye, sweets. It took a lot. Enjoy the books." Thanks. Bye, Cynthia. Don't be a stranger. Still like you. That's how it always goes, though. I don't think Cynthia's coming back, which is too bad. I like her. She's allowed to disagree, but if you're going to put the challenge, ask your chat. You ask the chat. What the fuck is, what is that? Why would that be what does it? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Cars in Depth read that one. Jason McConnell read that one. Law and Lumber says, "Bro, you already tied me to a chair to force me to watch. There's no need to threaten my penis with dragging. There's always a reason." Mario Carter 13 Starry Decisis equals first comment on YouTube. Masako, why, with Roe being overturned, does that give room for gay marriage to be overturned? I would still like legal protections, even if this is not called marriage. No, not as simple. Not as simple at all as all. Kalinka Pavlova says, Katomi Chayutanichi said, "Hey, Cynthia, chat here. Fuck you." Well, there you go. There you go. Thanks. Catch you later, Ryan, the editor. But okay, back to Masako wine. Again, here's the difference between Roe versus Wade. There is lots that suggest that marriage is a fundamental right. Marriage is extremely common at the time of the adoption of the Constitution, the adoption of the 14th Amendment, and all of the other amendments. Marriage is the way that the majority goes to. We're almost down to marriage being a minority prospect, but we're still, I think, in a majority of marriage. So with that being said, marriage has always been part of this country, has always been part of the country's people. So then the question is, does the 14th Amendment, as applied, protect marriage for different classes of people? And I think we can safely assume that based on other rulings of the court, that sexual orientation is incorporated into the sex provision of the 14th Amendment. If sex and sexual orientation are one and the same, because sexual orientation is gender-based, then the 14th Amendment protects gay marriage. I mean, the court might come to a different conclusion. I no longer know after Roe, but that's the argument that you get to. And that's a pretty basic argument as to why it's distinctly different from Roe v. Wade. And that's important. Okay, anyway. Nicholas Stero says, sanctity of life, black, white, or grayscale. The sanctity of life, whether it's sacred, whether it's worth protecting, that's black and white. How we do it and what we do to our people is a different question. That's more grayscale. E. Heffelfinger says, Nick will touch our minds, our hearts, and our body. A true man of the people. Batman's pet goldfish. The correct term is almost moms. Redhead takes. Former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman is being maliciously prosecuted for not giving up records for his investigation of the 2020 election. Check it out sometime. The government is dumb. Yeah, I'll check it out. I also saw the report coming out of Arizona that suggests that there were some shenanigans afoot. And that's the way it goes, right? Kind of crazy, though. Kind of crazy. Buck. Are you deaf enough? Well, are you? Says, which babies are us did you get your shirt from? I got this shirt at Target. Fuck you very much. I need to use a hair straightener to straighten out the collar every day. But you know what? You can eat shit. Piece of garbage. Motherfucker. Alabaster scarf. Can you smell Carthage burning? Yes. Crackling. What will Planned Parenthood do now that their baby chopping business model won't be so profitable? Margaret Sanger's eugenics legacy is in danger. Look. Planned Parenthood will be fine because the majority of their business is not abortions, and you know that. Are you deaf enough? Well, are you? Says, don't rant. My last message, mofo. Okay. I won't. Fuck you. Concert LD. Sorry, I'm late for some reason. YouTube is not notifying me when you go live here lately. Yeah, I'm pissed off YouTube. All this shit is YouTube cancer. So again, here's some fucking grift on this. Two things. One, recadalaw.locals.com, so you make sure you always get your notification. Two, go check out my fucking short videos that I upload because they do not get pushed. They don't get pushed. And it's a fucking shame that they don't get pushed because some of them are pretty good. But I need y'all's help in watching them. It's a grift, but it's true. Okay, next. Patrick Stalls says, shout out the whiskey during Unbreaded. It's happening with Harper. I took my 6-year-old daughter to vote with me today and overheard the poll workers talk about how cool it was I brought my daughter to see voting. Yeah. There you go. Are you deaf enough? Well, are you? Says, the government should fear the people rant. Fucking top notch. Cheers, brother. Yes, I did upload a video of my rant about the government fearing the people. Check it out. Voyager 8294. Nick, you've encouraged me over the last year to join a political party. Today, I officially joined the Libertarian Party. There you go. Please make it better than what it was. That guy says, Nick's January 6th rant has become top-notch JOI, jerk-off instruction. Always thinking of you, Nick. Cheers, mate. Hey, thanks, buddy. Me too. Nighttime Lime says, today is the first time I'm celebrating my mother's birthday since her death on 1/3/2022. Wondering if I get a toast to a loving mother of 5. Sure. Nighttime Lime to your mother. A mother of 5 children, a mother who devoted her life to raising more people than is even fucking reasonable. Moms, man, they have profound impacts on us. Every word, every action, everything they do and say can lead us to a future of prosperity or a future of poverty. It's an incredible burden, and so many women take it willingly. To moms who take it and make it better than what we would do on our own. Cheers. Yvette Marie says, Nick, I don't know whether to love you or hate you. Girl, yes, you do. Love me. Love me. Always. You look just like my ex-husband. Well, not exactly like, but I cannot unsee it. Send me a picture of him. Do I have a bigger nose? Do I have a bigger nose than him? These are important questions. I know I'm not your ex-husband, though. I am funnier and more charming. Are you tough enough? Well, are you? Says Ed on Civil Law. You're supposed to be grifting, not donating. All respect lost. Nah, you the homie too. Zim the Despot. I'd be into Warhammer 40K if I wasn't broke. That's where I was as a kid, dude. And if Game Workshop didn't hate its own customers, I don't think they do. I think they struggle, but I genuinely think they like their own customers. But I'm weird like that. Abe Eckstein says, are you going to go through the base Thomas concurrence at some point? Yes, but I'm going to probably do it in a short video. Jason of the Great Awakening says, justice and positive for the Rona. I feel fine apart from everything tasting burnt and the sensation of being steel wool being pulled through my nostrils, turned around, pulled out through my shoulders. Not seeing the big deal really. Once you get over it, it's not that big of a deal, but it does fucking suck when you get it. But I mean, so does getting the flu. Kai and Rennell just got here from DSP's channel. What did I miss? Everything. Kate asks, can you toast my mom and dad? There were complications of the pregnancy, but they chose life. Sister and I were born almost 2 months early, and we are healthy today. To Kate S.'s mom and dad, and to everyone whose parents, like, if you're born after 1972 or whatever, your parents chose to keep you. And cheers to them for that. Even if your life is shit, would you have chosen for them to not? Cheers to moms and dads everywhere, and particularly yours. Imaya Shiroyu. While my younger 6 foot, 210 pound brother isn't fat, he also requested you shame his twig shaped chromosomes deficient self into gaining muscle. His name is David. David, what the fuck is wrong with you? You want to look like me? Some sort of skinny fat walking around. Oh, I got little twig bitch arms, but a gut hanging out. No, get in the goddamn gym while you have time. Lift the weights. Find women, lift them. Find men, lift them. Lift whatever you fucking can. Lift everything. Get big, get strong, make Chris Hemsworth jealous. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sitting around like a lazy piece of shit. David. Yash Patil says, yo, Rackets, love your content. Giving out the free super chat YouTube gave me to you. Enjoy the YouTube money. Thank you. I do. Killer 828529. So you've spoken on the Tug versus Amber Heard document in regards to him being an incel? Nope. I have to ask. It was funny. Sorry. I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out. Good night, Kalinka. I'm a long way from alcohol poisoning. I'm just at normal happy drunk. I'm not at like gonna die drunk yet. Patrick Sama, too late for straight coffee. Need a bit of bourbon to take the edge off those beans. Dr. Kenneth Noisewater, coffee brand coffee is smuggled into the U.S. from Colombia inside bales of pure uncut cocaine. Ooh. Stephanie Tam, Camelot 331 got locals. It was never a right. Says Elden Ring soon. Yeah. Not tonight because I got to get up fucking early. Whoa, Nicholas Cruiser gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Nicholas Cruiser, for that. I appreciate it. Robin DeHood says, hey, Nick, thanks for being awesome. Been watching since Cain versus Abel. Long time. Very complicated case. Pistol Pete 343. I believe this is my first super chat in this chat. Thank you, Pistol Pete. Been around since Kick Vic BS. Stuck around for Kyle. All hail the Pope of Grift. Cheers. Hey, cheers to you, buddy. Philip Vecchio says Malice plus Ricada is Tyson plus Holyfield. 2 of the best. Kitty Cat. Salty Cracker may be my king, but you are the prince. I got to quit watching you and eating edibles. Ribs kill me from laughing. Blessings to you and your family. Blessings back to you. Always eat edibles while watching me. I want you to laugh. You baggy says, wow, I can't believe a clown would ever become a murderer. Wick Dipper. Stevo is a clown. Clowns are weird and scary. E. Malachi skipped 2 nights and not making it up with a 15-hour stream. No, fuck me. Taylor A. Been listening since Rittenhouse. Love the show, man. Have you played Blood Bowl? It's easily the best game that Games Workshop has made. I haven't. I have the Blood Bowl video games, but I've never played them or the tabletop. Wick Dipper, why can't marriage contracts be judged like every other kind of contract? There are some good reasons. I can't articulate all of them, but the courts just don't involve themselves when it involves putting a penis in a butt. Ningal 1994. Hi from Australia. Hey, what's up? I have some different views to you, but it's amazingly intriguing to listen to your views on it and interpretation of law and legislation. That's what we need right there, buddy. Yeah, I'm with you. Again, I value people who disagree with me all the time. You make me a better discusser and a better understander of my own views. If everybody disagreed with me, I'd swallow a bunch of glass and they'd be like, yeah, it's a good idea. Ministry of Otaku. Can't wait to see you at Anime Matsuri. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm looking forward to it. Met this guy last year. Genuinely nice guy. Ministry of Otaku. Covers a lot of important shit. Check out his channel, by the way. Ministry of Otaku. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. The only major anime con to operate as normal when most conventions refused came in 2021. Will again 22. Look, I came every day of 2022. Crystal, off topic, but I recently learned you have narcolepsy. I do too. Hello, my sleepy brother. No wonder you're up so late. Thank you for understanding what narcolepsy is. Since you have it, it's not just Mr. Bean from Rat Race. I fall asleep all the time. It's a complete disruption of your sleep life. And that means that at night, when you should be asleep, you feel really fucking awake. And it's weird. It doesn't make sense, but it's what you live with. So, yeah. How's it going, my sleep brother or sister? I don't know which one you are. I'm good with it. Adam equals sex equals baby. No sex equals no baby. Easy peasy. Contraception isn't even a question of how easy it is to get right now. Ladies, if you're going to college and you're going to eat dick all day long, get a fucking IUD. And then when you're done taking dick all day because you get married, take out the IUD. This is not that hard. This is not that fucking hard. Guys, if you're going to go be dropping gobs and gobs of that baby batter into women, wear a condom, which sucks. Get a vasectomy if you're weird. Or 3, how about have some personal fucking dignity and don't put your cock in every fucking hole that walks by? Try something. A little fucking modicum of self-control from either of you fucking cunts would be helpful. It's so goddamn easy. I went like 25 years without getting a woman pregnant. No, wait, that's not true. I went 25 years without having a baby. We had 3 miscarriages. Okay, I went 22 years without getting a woman pregnant. You can manage it for a little bit longer. Emily Wooten, they use abortion as contraception now. Yes, that's the reality of abortion. It is not a medical procedure to protect the life of the mother. It is not something for whatever. It's contraception. That's all it is. And Martin, see you at Matsuri. When are the key events? I have no idea. You'd have to check with them. I don't know when I'm doing my panel, but I'll have a panel at Matsuri. It'll be on the schedule, I'm sure. The Matsuri app has all the stuff when they upload it. Ayim Rose, I'm pro-life, but a lawyer said the pursuit of happiness and liberty cover abortions. Thoughts? Not for the fucking baby. Right? Like, look, the pursuit of happiness and my personal liberty means I should be able to take a claw hammer to a 4-year-old skull and kill him. If they get in my way, is that true? No, of course it's not true. Fuck off with that. Look, a lot of lawyers are frankly fucking retarded. I don't have a solution for them. Except a final solution. They're mostly fucking idiots. I'm the only correct lawyer that's ever lived. A somber SF. When interpreting law's intent, don't you have to look at the opinions from the time the law was implemented to determine writer's intent? You don't have to, but it's a way to do it. For this, I think abortion was illegal when Constitution was made. Yes, but it's more important about when the 14th Amendment was passed, and still yes. Mario Kart 13, Lady Rackets is your type. The iPad is hers. Ryojimata, Nick got his wife a stroop on for his nightly, excuse me, morningly pogging. No, don't do pegging. That's Ralph. Abram Warpness in a Soviet Russian accent say, pro-abortionist purge has only begun tonight. Compatriots, hurrah! Hurrah! We will kill those bitches when they need to be killed. We will save babies when need be saved. Pinochet's helicopter tour says, dear TSA, we'll pay for proof of the strappy-on. Good luck. You won't find one in there. Nighttime Lime. Mistakes were made in the heat of passion. Jimbo. Jackson Kai. If I was a TSA agent, I'd have been more surprised if I didn't find a Popad in there. Mario Carter. TSA. Food address. Peg supplies. Popat must be Nick. Fuck. Pastor of Muppets. I'm marrying my girlfriend of 10 years on the 9th. Can I have a toast? And you being the wordsmith that you are, maybe something good to add to my wedding speech. Yeah, Pastor of Muppets. To you, marrying a woman after 10 years, 10 years, far too long, 10 years, a decade of waiting, a decade of injustice, a decade of weakness and cowardice rectified in a moment of clarity in which you decided to pledge your person to another. May that decision always be respected, honored, and upheld. And most of that's on you, brother. But let me give you this bit for your own wedding thing. Say, the only mistake I genuinely regret in my relationship to you is that this decision didn't come 10 years ago. I have loved you, cherished you, and treated you like a wife for a decade. And now I pledge to do it for the rest of our lives. Say that, she'll have to change out of those wedding panties, buddy. When you know, you know. All right. Wig Tipper, does Dobbs also permit all levels of abortion at the state level? Yeah. Yes. Dobbs says that the Supreme Court doesn't get to say, that it's state level entirely. Reverend Norse, greetings, Nick the Nose from the Caliphate, formerly known as Sweden. Keep up your awesome work. I toast you a Malort, the drink of my people. Malort is disgusting. Stop it. No. No. Fuck. Martin says, I like squirrels. Skeeler says, can you please toast my boyfriend who is ignoring a reasonable time to go to bed while running a company and building out a house in the dirt? Come on, Skeeler. Yes, I can. Fuck. I got you. Skeeler, to Skeeler's boyfriend. This is a man wrapped in manhood, a man who doesn't have time to sleep. Bodily functions take second rate to his duty of provision, care, and protection to himself and those around him. To Skylar's boyfriend, may you never, ever listen to your wife. girlfriend, whatever, about a reasonable time to put down your duties as a man. May you always persist in what brings out your duty to provide, to protect, and to procure for those around you. Because you, my friend, are the man, and that is why she likes you in the first place. Cheers, buddy. Keep it up. Joseph Fazio, I know a chick who had 14 abortions. Kind of chick you look at her and she gets pregnant. Fuck that. Morpheus, Lord of Oneroy. So when Roe versus Wade reached the Supreme Court, why would both sides appeal despite the ruling in Roe's favor? Because they're going to try and wait, what? It just, because people want to challenge the law that exists, I think is the answer. Carapapas, the court lied, babies died. The field, I followed your ramen advice, and I'm so not skinny that I actually withstood a stiff freeze. I had to bury 2 lambs Sunday, and dealing with those deaths really reminds me how evil infanticide is. Fuck. Sorry, brother. Wait, did I tell you to eat a bunch of ramen to get big? Get big, motherfucker. Mario Kart 13, what's the big deal? Rose, just a clump of words. Carapapas. Oh, there's 4 of these. Fuck, I should have read this earlier. Ultimately, the only thing we can count on for ourselves is the memories we create for others. There's no more horrifying thing to me than to take this away from someone. Every aborted child has the most horrifying fate forced upon them without the chance to state their case. Nobody allowed to advocate for them. They are stripped of their chance to matter, their chance to be remembered. The truest terror is that these souls will not even be remembered. They will not be missed, even by the kindest people. Rush into the void. There's no worse fate. Look, Kara, 2 things. 1, the good news for the kid is that they're not able to understand, comprehend, or articulate any of that. And 2, if there is a God, if there is a savior, and if there is an afterlife, then they are in the express train to fucking paradise without the opportunity to fail. If that's true, then that's good at the end of the day. But not only would they, but also any potential God or savior would also wish that they had the opportunity to fail and were given the chance for forgiveness. But, we'll have to wait and see. Sorivsa says, hey man, I am married and my wife is from India. The ruling broke her heart and we are both military. She's convinced about low income women. What do I say? I would say to her simply, every baby has an opportunity now to live in the states which will allow them that opportunity. And any woman on earth has the opportunity to end their pregnancy tomorrow. All they have to do is get to any of the numerous states that still allow it. Pope Raggeds Touch Me says, make the offer. Same, no restrictions on Second Amendment and abortion. They will never agree. Can socially pass on morals for life, but can't regain rights taken by the government. Rasmus Dalla, Mario sent a donation. Thank you, Mario Carter 13. I take this asshole. Nick Pegging confirmed. No, I'm taking someone else's asshole there. So I'm pegging them with the Baldo. Kimberly Moriarty, I'm way behind, but your opening makes it sound like Roe was someone crunching last minute on a school paper. Thanks for streaming tonight. It was. Carapapas, the arbiter of an individual's life and legacy should never be a person who holds no value in it. Random commenter, hey Nick, I sent you an email on 6-3 about a prior super chat for attorney recommendations for a suit against Indiegogo. Could you check it out when you get the chance? Email from blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'll check that out. Sorry, super fucking busy lately. Tor Theo, refusing to hold another accountable for abortion strikes me like society never holding women accountable for committing violence, like the TikTok star. Again, I can't help it. You can disagree with me. That's fine. I don't condemn women for their abortions because women have been lied to, manipulated, and everything in between on this. And I don't think condemning them is overly profitable or helpful. Condemning the liars and manipulators, different story. Redwall says, so when the states decide and culture decides to keep stepping left and left, do we get to the point where the lefties that move to today's red states and vote blue, literally Texas right now? Yes. Yes, that's how society works. That's how a representative republic works. And it's tough sometimes to say, oh, well, what if Texas turns red or blue? What if Texas turns blue? What do you do about it? You may lose Texas. I don't know what to say. That's the risk of a democracy or a republic or whatever you have. When you have representation, you might be in the minority. I did not buy a furry costume in Kentucky, J-Rock, you fuck. Furries need the sword put right up their pee holes. Mitchell says, I don't have anything to say, but I'm sending a super chat because it's free. Thank you. Rasmus Dalla, get yourself something nice. I will for 2 English pounds. Azrael Bain, I know you mentioned it before, but I couldn't recall where. What's the name of that nasal spray that helps with coof again? It's called budesonide. Budesonide. It's an allergy nasal steroid. Ring Wraither, hey Nick, could you elaborate on your attachment stance? It's better than the conception stance I had. Wish it would become more popular now. It's implantation. So conception, lots of babies are conceived and then get spit out during a period for the vagina. Implanted babies, so that's when they attach themselves to the uterine wall, the little thing that grows over them, and they start growing. Implanted babies is, in my opinion, a better view, a better measure of when a child is quote unquote life, because the body is not going to slough out the implanted baby outside of some major interference typically, or a corneal implantation, something like that. But implantation within the womb tends to be a pretty good indicator that what's going to come out is going to be a person that's alive. Outside of another unforeseeable circumstance, that's the reality. So as sure as I will live through tomorrow, that baby will come out to be a person. Now, I might die tomorrow. It's possible. Certainly. It's unlikely. Except if I keep drinking. Tor Theo says, Binger Mediv. Steve C. gifted 5 Ricadalon memberships. Thank you, Steve C. Fuck. I'm super tossed. I need to go to bed. Isaac Ott. California DOJ just released the personal info on all CCW permit holders. Revenge, yes. Of course. Bruce Conant. Noseman, I'm a Nash native. Hit me up next time we have a legit street racing scene. Legal drag races on Big Bridge. Cops block traffic till 3 a.m. Then we go to Natchez Trace Parkway. 400 miles of perfect bends. Good picks. Don't tempt me, you motherfucker. I would love to drive fast car. I love cars. I love driving. I don't know anything about cars, so don't get me wrong. Like I had a fancy for sports cars as a kid, and I love to drive cars, but I don't know fucking anything about building them, maintaining them, or whatever. I just like them. I like how loud they are. I like the vibration in the steering wheel when you hit the gas. Let's do it. Tamara Holloway. There's no soft or harder. Hard R. Southern white say sista, but it's spelled sister. Same with Binga and Binger. And POC equals colored people grammatically. There you go. Thank you, Tamara. Big Vis 497. Casual libertarians just care about legal drugs and that's it. They never take the non-aggression principle to its logical conclusion, like abortion. Dispatch Indirect. The reason the left is flipping out like this is because if they're wrong on Roe, they're the monsters. Legal Vices says, Dirty Harry Callahan. What about the rights of that little girl? Sean Netches. I'm a libertarian. The only legitimate purpose of government is to stop people from killing you. Like, legitimately, yes. Cynthia read that one. Kofi 2A wannabe Hunan Muhammad. F YouTube super chat censorship. That super Colso cigar I pledged to you is on its way. Unlike a certain Amber Pooper, I honor my pledges. Thank you, Kofi. Alex Goldberg, welcome to Paralegal. Tortheo, vast majority of Planned Parenthood income is abortion. Yes. Abram Warpness, in a New England American 1780s accent. Say, I don't know how to do this. It is within reason I should kiss Clarence Thomas's chocolate-covered succulent whoppers. There you go. Lieutenant Hughes, thanks for the 9-month chat. Says, hail the people of the grift. Nikki Rackets. Carlos Estrada, I got Rona too. Let's go to Geeks and Gamers. Wee. Coffee 2A. Wannabe Hunan Muhammad says, swallow some glass. Sounds like a good idea. Give a try and tell or type a review. I don't know you guys. Says, going to any other cons. Can't make Matsuri. Would love to buy you a drink. Cheers. I would love to go to other cons. I go to cons I'm invited to because I will not show up to a con and be turned away for the weekend. It's not going to happen to me. So if you want me to go to another con, if you want me to go to a con near you, ask them to invite me. I can talk about Johnny Depp. I can talk about escapism. I can talk about whatever they want. I can do great panels. I'm a good panelist. Pretty good. Look, I've seen lots of panels. This guy, he's really fucking good at panels. He's good at panels. Does great panels. He grabs the panels. He jerks the panels a little bit. And the panels, sometimes they talk back. You know what I mean? Talk with come. Bent over. Nick, how are babies made so I know how not to do it? Just always stick your dick in an ass and you'll be fine. Carapapas, remember child support is a lot of money. Vasectomy, $2,000. Abortion, $500. Condoms, $5. Being gay, free. Future's in your hands. Joel Reese, don't worry, Nick. Drex will ask you to be his best man. I can't wait till Drexel gets married. I think the long con is I'm going to convince Drexel's wife to marry him. Officially. Fuck, I'm drunk. Tracy 3 says, single men and women, and I guess cheaters too, condoms. Pregnancy is not the only thing you should be worried about. STDs can and will ruin or take many lives. Be smart, people. Look, I agree with you, Tracy, but have you ever worn one? Condoms are fucking bullshit. Bullshit. I'm old. If I wore a condom, I would never, ever reach. I would be fucking for the rest of my life. I'd be fucking until I died if I wore a condom. I don't know. That's not true for everybody, but I mean, you put a condom on this dick, I would fucking never, ever finish. I'd never do it. Do it anyway. You have a wife. Do you know how this works? Pope Raggeds touched me. I read your chat, I believe. When is Drexel coming? I don't know. I'm not. Probably Saturday. Mark Sermon says, might just be a silly question, but is there any correlation between STD rates and the passage of Roe? Maybe. I have no idea. Joshua Vidrine says, that's it. Enough shots tonight, Nick. I had a normal day. Time to take an anti-shot. Put the glass down. Okay, I got it. Stick a syringe in that arm and suck out a toast worth of alcohol, then go to bed. Apex Honest, do you think Roe versus Wade ruling means government enforced vaccine? No, the Roe versus Wade ruling cuts. Wait, what am I fucking saying? It has nothing to do with the other. Let's just get there. And then Superstitious Oblivious B has a member of 19 months. Thank you. Pope Raggeds Touch Me says, have them watch an abortion animation if that doesn't change their mind. God have mercy on their soul, but the doctors, nurses, workers know damn well. Don't watch an animation, watch the real thing. They have tons of them videoed. It's fucking horrifying. Johnsian, greetings from Slidell, Louisiana. That's where my mom was born, Johnsian, where she's from. Mr. Ricade, I have a toast request, but can't fit it under Rumble's character limit. I sent it to your email and hope you will read it, but understand if you don't. Fuck. Hate email. Why do you do this to me? We'll see. I'm going to take a peek at it. I'm not promising shit. Fuck you. Fuck is your fucking name? Johnsian. Oh shit. I don't see your email. I'll have to look for it later when I'm less drunk. Sorry, Johnsian. I can't look. I'm looking at it and I don't see the one. But I'd love to read it. Like I said, half of me is from Slidell, man. SC Medic 71. This chat is kind of like ice hockey. If you decide to step on the ice, it's a matter of time until you meet up the boards. Up close and personal just comes with the territory. Nothing personal, kid. Lieutenant Hobbit, Howard Stern is going for 2024 election, wants to get rid of Electoral College and add 5 more justices to the Supreme Court. Howard Stern can get fucking raped. Fuck him. What a piece of shit that guy's become. His entire career is based on free speech, and then lately he's just thrown it away. Said, free speech doesn't matter. Says Price 92. Justice Clarence Thomas also needs to get rid of the loophole to allow civilians to easily sue mainstream media for defamation. Yes. Herman Armenia, that's New York Times versus Sullivan that he wants to go after. Herman Armenia says June 24th shall forever be christened as National Hose Mad Day. In the month of June shall be recognized as National People That Born Pride Month. Herman Armenia is, on this holiest of months, gestating people of fetal status and motherly challenge, as well as their allies, must stand together against institutional discrimination and violation of fundamental human rights against the GPPOFSMCA plus community and unborn bodies. # resist against fetal enemies. Justin says thoughts on West Virginia versus EPA. None, haven't read it. Herman Armenius read that one. Wolf V, you were my COVID vaccine. By you not being here, I got COVID day 1. Felt like I was going to die. Day 2, I could still sleep in the chair. Was great. Day 3, felt better. The wife and son finally got it. They felt like they were going to die. Day 4, they were fine. Asthma is still not calm. It's how it goes. It sucks. It feels really uncomfortable, but most of the time you're going to live. Oganza 1000 I read that one. Firefucks, I am an hour behind. How badly did Cynthia get her roast beef flaps into a twist over the Roe v. Wade decision? Pretty bad. Was she malding and screeching, or is she elected to make a decision to abort herself because of SCOTUS ruling? No, she just decided to leave, apparently, which makes me fucking sad. Tato Chip Nick, someone shot up a Subway over too much mayo. Was it you? Yes, of course. Obviously it was, and I'd fucking do it again. Herman Armenius, yo, bitch, you still want my Big Ben? I'm fine with you being my baby mama and all. Just hold this kite for me real quick. Ben Franklin, 1769. Tato Chip, half of them are retarded. Mommy said I'm special. No, she was lying. Malik Foxton says she'll be back next week. Herman Armenius, take a shot for Clarence. Biden sided with my bitches, so I'm putting Rowan Stitches, Thomas, and the 5 other bench thugs for life. I can't drink anymore. I've drank way too much. Plus, I had a liquor before this. I'm going to fucking bed. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll get to Twitch really fucking eventually. I really want to do Twitch. We got Bill and Ted before the end of the month. So hopefully tomorrow, the next day, we can do it. But we'll get to Twitch. I got to get up early tomorrow. I got to go probably throw up. Not really, but close. All right, guys. Catch you then. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have